and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
The consortium was me!
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
WWP Slam It!
Welcome everyone to WWP. We are a wrestling podcast that reviews wrestling events that are relevant in little arcs. And I am one of your hosts. My name is Miguel. And I am joined by my compadre, El De Niro.
Thank you, Miguel.
Miguel, I'm very excited about tonight's episode. Today's episode, whatever time it is the day you're listening to this.
Yeah.
It is the 2014 Royal Rumble.
Did you know also that it's the third Royal Rumble that we've done, making the Rumble the most reviewed event that we have ever touched on our very short and brief podcast?
That is a very good bit of trivia. You know what's weird as well? We've gone both backwards and forwards from this time period.
Yeah, I know.
So we've got our eyes in a lot of wrestling moments, you know?
Yeah, well, we stick with current stuff, we do past stuff, and then we flicker in between. But I think we've actually mentioned this event more than any other one, because it's like, when you think about it, this event really kickstarted the era that we're in now, which is the crowd boos everything they don't like era. And that really started here tonight in fucking Memphis, Tennessee, or wherever this Rumble is actually held. Let me just check my notes.
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Oh, Kurt Angle's hometown. So
Well, there you go. He wasn't there and they didn't like it.
they revolted, yeah.
Simple as that. So we let's jump into this then. So we open up the show with the sort of your classic "This is WrestleMania" promo.
Yeah.
We all want to be there. Even me, Zack Ryder. Even me, Goldust. I want to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Has there ever been a Rumble where some absolute nobody won?
Alberto Del Rio won in the 40-man one. Does he
That
count?
is very true. No, he doesn't in the sense of, like, obviously they were giving him a huge push, but, like, he would have been a little bit down on people's choices, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he definitely would have. Like Vince McMahon winning, like, that has to go down as one of the stupidest, like, most badly booked Rumbles.
I hate that Rumble.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's actually terrible. And I found, I've watched, like, most of the Rumbles at this point. The ones from the 90s are kind of bad. Like, they just didn't learn that they
Well,
had
there's no spots in most of them.
Yeah, exactly. The gimmick was 30 guys in the ring, and that's what people came to watch. Like, no one got used to the idea that, like, you build it up with, like, you know, the lower card guys, and then you have a big guy come out and destroy them, and that's super exciting. Like, they didn't really get to that until really the year 2001 or so. So,
Yeah, I think that was, like, the beginning of the modern Rumbles. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe even 2000, because in 2000 you would have had, like, The Rock and Big Show and Kane and...
when
like,
you watch
had
the 2001, the monster guys that came out, like, very few of them actually had any lasting impact beyond, like, even like 3 months later in the business. Like, there's one of the biggest guys that came out in that. I can't even remember his fucking name. But I was watching it, like, fairly recently, and I was like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, I have no idea who that guy is. But obviously I still don't know his name. So.
Do you know
That's my story.
Sort of like Bo Buchanan, that sort of dude?
Nah, it's like he just is like a really weird looking guy. It might have been the 99 one, actually, now that I think of it. But it was just a name.
Giant Silver. Is that the guy?
Did he...
Golga.
Oh, say that last name again?
Golga.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's like the absolute fucking drizzling shits of, like, yeah, I've just looked it up. Golga coming in at number 3. Yeah, the Rumble of '99. I mean, I'm just gonna go for the names like Gilbert, Tiger Ali C, Mabel, even before he was Viscera, Kurgan. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, come on.
And even the 2000 Rumble, I thought that was like oddly crippled by the Chris Benoit, by the people in the pay-per-view itself, because like the Hardys had the match with the Dudleys, that tables match, and then Triple H had Cactus, Jericho, China, Hardcore, all had their match. I think Jericho comes out again. Like then Taz and Kurt Angle had the their little sort of Taz's debut, which is insanely amazing, and then it all went to shit. So I guess like those people could have been like most of them would have been like the workhorses of the Rumble, but they weren't in it. So it wasn't until 2001 that like you start to see kind of sacrificing the cards to get the most jam-packed Rumble. Because you had like Kurt Angle versus Triple H in 2001, which was like heel on heel.
That was that's a really interesting time back then, because there was like a trifecta of heels that were heels but also tweeners depending on the situation. You had Angle, Benoit, and Triple H, and they all hated each other, but then sometimes they'd be on each other's side, and it was a lot more nuanced than what it is nowadays, where you just have a guy who's good and a guy who's bad. Apart from, I think they did a very good job of booking Reigns as a tweener, even though people will claim that he was being booked as the monster face, but I think his feud with AJ Styles, he was quite clearly a tweener during that. Like his entire "I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy," that is like a kind of that's just how you book a tweener champion, basically.
Yeah, no good guys would necessarily say that. I think they might have been just testing the water and being like...
Yeah, I think they did a lot of interesting things then that just got fucking shat on by the crowd, which I suppose we'll talk about in this, because it's relevant still to this day. But you know what's cool about the 2014 Rumble is that it's the first time we ever get to see John Cena versus Randy Orton in a match.
Yeah, up till now. I mean, actually, no. This is the real John Cena versus the real Randy Orton match.
That's true.
Like everything else, but this one was just like the dress rehearsal. This is the one.
21 fucking minutes of this. We'll get.
And that's our review, folks.
We'll get into it.
So let's open up the show as Brian D. General Manager, and possibly wrestling at soon. Mm-hmm. Apparently, this is what we hear through the back streets.
Yeah, but by the time this is uploaded, that will be old news.
Yeah. So probably by the time you listen to this, he'll probably be main eventing WrestleMania. Yeah. Imagine that. Gets medically clear to return. It's just like Brock, Roman, Brian.
Jeez, what a match that would be.
Oh, bro, I'd feel bad for Brian. He'd get killed. I'm sure he'd give as good as he got, but his body is not like the others. No. One is not like the others.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
He'd just be like, I've just come back, and I'm gonna be dropped on the back of my head about 27 times, and speared, and Superman punched. So opening in. I mean, at the time, we should probably say full disclosure now. We both watched this live at the time.
Yeah.
So I might often refer to what me back then said and what me right now is saying. I watched this at a house with a couple of friends at the time. Oh, we were buzzing, man. It was the first time that we got a bigger group of us.
Yeah.
And it was just Royal Rumble, blah, blah, blah. We were firmly behind D-Bry on this. Another quick note. The New Age Outlaws won the tag team titles.
They certainly did on the pre-show against the inspiring tag team of Cody Rhodes and Goldust.
Yeah, just a man and a painted man. He wasn't Stardust at this one. You're just straight up Cody. So last time we saw the New Age Outlaws, of course, they turned heel on CM Punk, so this is how they got rewarded.
Yeah, and their finish was kind of screwy. Well, it wasn't really screwy. I guess it was a little bit underhanded, but it was like a blind tag from Billy Gunn. Cody didn't see it, and then he let his guard down. He took a Famouser, and then the pin, and that was that. Glad I didn't watch it, but I watched it live at the time, so I didn't rewatch it this time. I don't think it's even worth talking about. The longest gap between 2 tag title reigns is the stat that gets thrown around here about the New Age Outlaws. So, well done to them, and nobody cares.
You'd have to throw in the Hardys now.
Oh yeah, jeez, I wonder. Well, no, because the New Age Outlaws were, I suppose, 2014 to what, like 99 or something.
98, I think they would have won it together for the first time, but the Hardys actually won it in 99 as well.
Yeah,
briefly.
but the Hardys' last reign would have been what, 2002?
Oh no, they came back in the 2007.
Oh, did they?
Because I remember, it was around the time where they fucked up Jerry Mercury with the ladder spot. So when Jeff does the seesaw spot, and jumped on the ladder and
he got a really badly broken nose. Yeah.
Yeah, so they would have been tag champs around that time. Don't know if that specific event. So I guess between title reigns, that's right. But it's a very weird thing for the Hardys though, because it's almost like a 20-year gap. 99, 2017.
Yeah, that's true. But I think this stat is consecutive.
Yeah, so that's even, I guess, more impressive.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be friends with a boss.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Because the world was not screaming for the New Age Outlaws.
No, but it's a testament to how fucking weak the tag division was at the time too. Like,
yeah, but the Usos were there and the Wyatts were there. But that's a whole different story. We'll get into that as we go along, I'm sure. So, out comes Daniel Bryan.
Crowd goes fucking crazy.
Like, this is Austin levels here of absolute just... biggest pop of the night, and it's the first match of the night. Yeah. He's the first person of the night.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, so it starts off pretty hot. The yes chants, like they do the old zoom in when he's in the ring. You just see up the fucking rafters. Yes, goes mental. Then Bray Wyatt comes out. Is this Bray Wyatt at his peak?
Yeah, it's a tough question because he has had a title reign. Now, at this point, I actually think it's very fair to say that it is, because he was still kind of fresh at this point. He definitely wasn't stale, and he was doing lots of interesting things, and as we'll see from this, he kind of gets a push. So, yeah, I guess so. I think it's really weird the way they keep saying that he has a messianic complex.
They just start all types of shit. Oh my god. Yeah. I'll get into that because I'm scrolling down my notes and there are notes about the commentary. So banter. So it's all very punch kicky. Bryan mainly in control until the brothers in Wyatt fam interfere.
Yeah. The
Bludgeon Bros. Were they just Harper and Rowan, I guess, back then?
Yeah, they were just the Wyatt family, yeah.
So Jerry Lawler kept calling Bray a weirdo.
Yep.
I think that was all the research he did. Yeah. Honestly, I reckon his notes would have been say he's weird. He's weird, JR. JR's not even there. So they come out of the ring. So Bryan does the yes kicks, which are crazy over.
Yeah.
Can I just say as well, big fan of Bray Wyatt's like killer O.J. Simpson glove he's got going on.
Yeah.
Well.
Does he still wear that?
No, I don't think so. He might wear it to the ring, but I don't think he wears it in matches as such. Or at least it's not the brown one. The brown one I think look a bit creepier because it's an element of like
Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, brings it to that. Yeah, that which is that's what's cool about Bray Wyatt though, is that as you can see the character, it kind of you can bring your own ideas into it.
Yeah, like the video for Left Behind from Slipknot. That's just like that should be Bray's Titantron.
That's how I do. I was just thinking the video then I was like, that's very true.
Yeah.
I think it fit him quite nicely. A bit angry because he's more like low key, but the video
that could be his his childhood story.
He got left behind.
Yeah.
He let it all slip away.
Yep. Classic Bray.
Bray did the arms out pose. I don't know if you saw this. And there's a guy in the crowd that did it as well.
I did see that. I couldn't tell if I enjoyed it or was pissed off by it.
So cool. It was, obviously took me straight out of the match, but I was like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So the match gets a bit odd, because I don't know if you noted, but there's some Jerry Lawler chants.
Yeah, there's Husky Harris chants as well, which we obviously mentioned that were on the Raw before this.
Aren't they clever?
It's so fucking shit, isn't it? I really hate it.
Yeah. Just chant something about the match.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can sit there, like, imagine, okay, so this isn't exactly Daniel Bryan's crowning moment, but let's take, for example, Austin, 96, King of the Ring.
Yeah.
And he's going, Austin 316 says I just kicked your ass. And everyone's going, Ringmaster, Ringmaster. And it's just like, Stunning Steve. It's like, we know who he was, but, so what?
You don't get, like, internet points for being able to identify who the bloke was beforehand. Like, have a word with yourself.
Wikipedia, guys.
The fucking, the Raw after WrestleMania in 2013 ruined wrestling because
that's the beach ball, that's the Mexican wave,
the Fandango, the We Are Awesome
chants.
It was amazing to watch. Like, it was an absolute fucking spectacle of television. Like, I watched that and I was like, holy shit, wrestling is back. But ever since then, every fucking crowd in every arena thinks that they're that crowd, and it's just, it's fucking horrible because they end up chanting such utter shit, and it's just really weird. Like, you wouldn't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians and start saying, the writers need to give Chloe a push. Like, it's not for you to fucking say. Like, you're the person who watches it, and like it or not, wrestling is a reality TV show. So, like, I don't know. I make I make my opinions on that very well known.
We'll get to it as well. There's more to that coming up as well. Something weird happens as well because all the fans start looking to the right and booing.
Yeah.
This was the frustrating.
The pitch.
West Ham supporter came out with the fucking corner flag, just trying to get at people. So Bray then gets in control. He does a really good, I can't remember the name of the move, but I just call it standing rock bottom.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you know what? I actually can't recall there being a fucking name given for that. Like,
it's got a name, but I can't remember.
The Eater of Worlds, but not.
They wouldn't have called it a thing. They would have just said a big slam by Bray. Standing rock bottom. They wouldn't have called it standing rock bottom by Bray Wyatt. So he does the spider walk, which is also awesome to see. Then Bryan begins his comeback.
The Frankensteiner.
Yes, and the commentators start banging on about The Exorcist as well.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Carrie, I think they mention as well.
If you want to know what it would be like if Bray got an exorcism, check out Fantasy Booking.
Yeah. Link in the description. Follow us on YouTube.
Tornado DDT on the outside. Fuck, that was so cool.
That was brutal as well. Did he do? Oh yeah. That Jerry Lawler says he could watch the. Okay, so this is the point where I really got fucked off, and I actually paused because look, I've already mentioned about 10 things I was distracted by: the commentary, the fans, the commentary, the fans. So at this point, Jerry Lawler says he could watch this match all night long. Now, this is a storyline match. This isn't we're two guys seeing who's the best in the world type of match.
Yeah.
This isn't Punk Bryan. This isn't Cena Rock, where it's like, man, these guys could go all night and we'd love it and the fans would love it. This is a storyline match. This is Daniel Bryan trying to prove to the world that he is not a puppet, like he's not part of the machine either, which is what led to this storyline, but he's also not a puppet. Yet Jerry Lawler is talking as if like, these two could go all night and I love it. It's like, Bray's quite a horrible man.
Yeah.
Both in story and gimmick, and the storyline of this match is one dude trying to fucking control the other one's mind. And the way they sort of dismissed it as like, this is just silly entertainment really fucked me off. And that's what I realized what I missed about JR is more than anything about his commentary, he gives it a sense of urgency.
Yeah, I know. That's something that, like, I think we've hinted to it or like sort of mentioned it in spades, but not ever kind of hit the nail on the head as such. But that's something that's really been lacking over the last, I don't know, like honestly 10 years or 12 years or so. There's no kind of, you're never taken out of the, or rather,
the moment.
You're never immersed in the moment even.
Yeah, you're taken out of yourself and then immersed in the moment. That's the best way. Whereas with JR, you can watch a Stone Cold match on mute, or you can watch a big match on mute, and you can, and especially the 90s and the sort of early 2000s, you'd be like, JR will probably be screaming this, and you put the sound back on, and you're like, yeah. Because what I liked most about JR, I guess, is that he seemed like it matters who wins and loses.
Yeah, exactly.
It's important that this person puts that guy away before he builds up momentum for his reversals. Where these three, JBL, Cole, and Lawler, especially at this point, I think this is probably them at their worst. They kind of stopped being as grating. But at this point, they're acting like, oh man, this is great entertainment. This match is amazing. All the fans are loving it. And it's like, you should be doing the what JR would do is probably just be like, come on, Brian, do this, Brian. Like, put the match over. But there you go. So that Bray goes for the Sister Abigail, gets reversed, and then the yes locked is locked in.
Yeah.
Bray reverses it by biting his hand, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he hits the Sister Abigail and a clean win for Bray Wyatt.
Well, I want to say this because everyone at the time was pissed about this, and I had to be the one guy that was like, lads, this is not that bad. So before that happened, Brian did that thing where he dives through the middle ropes and, shortened his career span by about 20 years. And Bray hits him with like literally the most devastating iteration of the Sister Abigail ever performed in the history of that move, on the outside with his head knocked right up against the guardrail. Then Bray rolls him back into
nasty.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Then he rolls him back into the ring. And then he does another Sister Abigail. And then he pins him. And therefore, it's not a burial. It keeps Brian looking very, very good. And it makes Bray look strong too. So, I actually think that ending is really good. I think at the time it didn't look great because people were so eager for Brian to get over. And I think in hindsight it doesn't look great because they fucked up Bray Wyatt's character so bad. But I think in the moment, this is fine.
Were you shocked, though, at the result itself? Not
Absolutely,
what you then justified it. I think that was the most shocking thing.
I was shocked, but I could see why. I mean, it didn't...
You could see Wyatt, could you? Hey.
I could see Wyatt.
Yeah. I can see Harper.
Yeah.
I can see Rowan. I think that we were fucking just... Silence fell upon the room. This is hard because it did more for Bray to win than it did for Brian.
Yeah.
Because we'll see we'll end up at who I looks at WrestleMania, obviously. Now, we weren't to know that, but you could always make the argument that they were to know that. And they just said, let's fuck them short term and give them what they want long term. Who knows, though? Who knows?
That's what I genuinely think was their plan here.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
So
and like people, I think that the biggest part of this is the misconception that Vince is senile and doesn't know what he's doing. And like, how many fucking times does he have to prove to you that he does know what he's doing? Like, does that mean that he's perfect? No, of course not. But I mean, the guy is...
It's shades of grey, isn't it? It's not as black and white as people make it out. Not only that as well, but the amount of people that they've signed since this time period and brought in and returned despite ill feeling, from the Warriors to the Hardys to the Jerichos, like anybody who's anybody they ever, like, Lesnar, Rock, like they've brought back Hogan. Obviously he's not allowed now, but like all the indie darlings, and your conclusion is Vince doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, have a word.
Booking them is a whole other story, and that's not this episode. That's the fantasy booking episode.
Damn right.
That's the episodes we can straighten all this stuff out.
Yeah.
I was shocked. It was a shocking moment, but what a fucking brilliant match. Probably one of the all-time great openers in a wrestling pay-per-view that I can think of.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Definitely the match of the night, too. Oh, should have said that this early.
Well, people who know about this show know that. We've peaked.
Yeah,
we have peaked.
This is recent enough too, and but the thing is, honestly, we're not really going to spend that much time on the remainder of this card, right? There's only 2 more singles matches, and I know that we don't have a whole lot to say about Orton Cena, so. I
don't have much to say. So yeah, after the match, we get the old Brian just sits around disappointed, and we go backstage to Renee. The goddess, Renee.
Your beauty is skin deep, Renee.
Says beautiful Adonis himself, Paul Heyman.
Paul E. Heyman, yeah. This is the usual. My client is going to conquer and brutalize and break the streak of the Big Show. Yeah.
And he is a dragon, and I will awaken the dragon, and his name is...
He will slay the demon laid before him, and then you will see that the conqueror... Yeah.
And then he will eat a pixie, and that is you, Renee. So...
Yeah.
Josh Matthews appears. A wild Josh Matthews appears.
And a wild fucking HBK, a wild Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and a wild Ric Flair. This panel was hilarious. They actually cut a couple of segments out of this, I think.
From the original?
Yeah, I seem to recall on the night they went to this panel before every single match, and Flair just straight up called every match like it was going to happen because he didn't know that the sport was actually fake or something. I don't know.
Well, so he called the correct winner?
Yeah, and everyone. Sorry, I might actually be misremembering.
Or maybe he read the script.
Yeah, well, that's what it... Like, so if you... We'll talk about this just before the Rumble actually starts. I think Flair is definitely on something here, which should surprise nobody. But
he dances at his own name. It's really weird.
Yeah, this whole
he
thing.
says Ric Flair, and he's just having like the time of his life. Hacksaw Jim Duggan is a cunt.
You hate Hacksaw.
I hate Jim Hacksaw because Jim Hacksaw. And by the way, folks, you can look at this if you've watched enough wrestling. He does not job clean. He doesn't job clean in like 2010 to Jack Swagger. He wins on lost on a DQ. He didn't job clean back in the day. It was always a countdown or DQ. It's just like, how the fuck in kayfabe are you supposed to move up the card?
Well,
if all your matches don't end.
Let me tell you this. Hacksaw Jim Duggan once found the WCW TV title in a bin and became the champion. So...
Was that when he was heel and Canadian?
I don't know.
That sounds like I've just said the maddest thing. Was that when he was in Japan?
He did become Canadian for a while, didn't he? Because he was Mr. America, and yeah.
Cut his hair, and Vince Russo was like, "Let me get a hold of this guy." Yeah. And to be fair though, like, you know, if you of all the places to be from, it's like he didn't exactly become like a fucking. He didn't go to Saudi Arabia like Sergeant Slaughter did in the early 90s.
Yeah, but like...
pretty much popped down next door.
So I only got into WWE in the year 2000. I've said this before, but when I was doing like my sort of revisionist history of the WWF, to sort of learn the backstories and stuff after WCW had died, I got loads of like VHS tapes of like Breakdown in Your House and all of these pay-per-views, and every time they had an event in Canada, like Jerry Lawler spoke about the Canadians in a way that like you wouldn't hear an American speak about like Mexico or Iraq or Afghanistan or anything. And I was like fairly young, and I came away from that thinking like, wow, America fucking hates Canada. So if you're from Canada, you're a definite heel automatically because they hate Canada so damn much.
But that's only in wrestling as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it is. It's really weird. It's like something that they had to do to get the crowd to hate Bret Hart originally, was for him to say, I hate America and Canada is better and stuff like that.
But it's funny because then 2006 they'll have Regal and Finley as like best buds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Regal, yeah, a guy whose last name is Regal.
Yeah, and a guy who's from Belfast.
Best buds. Yeah,
Yeah.
we surely have connections, don't we, lads? It's
Yeah.
like fucking hell. Led by a black man who was pretending to be the king.
That was great.
A black man from Texas.
They fucking-
I actually liked the three of them. I actually did enjoy it, by the way.
Yeah, they kept SmackDown alive. Anyway,
Definitely.
So Ric Flair is like, my boy Brock Lesnar is gonna win.
Woo.
So the pre-match package made Big Show look really good, like an actual threat to Brock, which is really cool. And I think
That throw.
yeah, we spoke about it in the Raw one, but the way they booked Big Show, like in the past, just how flexible he is, that he can kind of slot into any role. I know people are sick of him now, and the joke is that he's is he heel, is he face? But
I think it was even at this point. This is like as well another tipping point in terms of a fan reaction to the Big Show. I actually think that Lesnar's probably his best opponent, by the way.
Same, yeah. Said that many times. I love it when these two guys are in the ring together. Like, they're great together. A really interesting thing, when Brock came out, JBL said, the mood is about to change, which is what they used to say about Taz, so that's pretty cool. And also Taz used to always say, well, here comes the pain, when Lesnar comes out.
I love that.
Yeah.
I used to always enjoy that. Yeah.
It's so cool.
Because it was like, I actually, when I was used to play it up in the video games, and you get that thing with the commentary in the older games, I actually thought that was part of the song.
Yeah.
Well, here comes the pain. So up next, we have a rematch from the very same Royal Rumble, except it was in 2003, when Heyman was with the Big Show during this time period.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just cue you up to kind of think of the time. Big Show had slacks and the handlebar mustache. So,
oh, my God.
That was a strange time for the Big Show. And, yeah, so here we go.
Yeah.
Chair shots.
Yeah, Brock, before the bell is rung, Heyman slides the chair into the ring and Brock just goes to town. And this is just about them building Brock up again. Because he's been away, and when he came back, the first thing he did was job to Cena, so they had to make him look like a real fucking force again. And so he goes absolutely fucking ballistic. Big Show responds with the KO punch and absolutely leathers him in the face.
Ooh.
And then Brock does a super impressive F5, and Big Show is not really in the best shape of his career here. Like, he's actually huge. After the 3 count, when Lesnar's music is playing, Michael Cole says, Heyman said this was the dawn of a new era. And it truly is, because after this, Brock goes from strength to strength, and this bout was totally realistic. And Brock continues his beatdown after, hitting the Big Show about 250 times with a steel chair. And that's the match, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think the count was legitimately around 45 times he hit him.
It actually
Big
was getting to a stage where I was like, alright, seriously,
this
lads.
is depressing.
Yeah.
This is just sad. Because Big Show wasn't even selling it anymore. And he just keeps hitting him and hitting him. Big Show's just kind of lying there still, just like, oh God, I'm fucked. Like, he destroyed the Big Show.
Yeah. He did.
I hope these two fight at WrestleMania, don't you?
Yeah, I'd love that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any other plans for either one of these guys, so
No.
yeah, I hope there's a rematch.
Yeah,
We'll see.
That would be fantastic.
So we get a handheld camera. Where are we? We're in the bowels of the building. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, who looks about 10 years younger,
And the only man who gets a pop, Roman Reigns.
the big dog. Damn it! I was trying to cut you off and say the big dog, but you said Roman Reigns.
Yeah, this is
he wasn't the
amazing.
big dog at this point.
The crowd fucking loves him.
Oh, you can hear the squeals from the ladies
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I have a problem with this. Not with this promo. I have a problem with the Royal Rumble, generally speaking, when it comes to like the build-up promos from people. So these three are saying 27 enemies. Do they think they're going to come out 1, 2, and 3? I always find that weird because I never see a wrestler just cut the bullshit and be like, you know what, if I come out of number 20, statistically, I might have to fight at least 10, 12 people.
12 men, yeah.
But it's fine. Like, you know, it could be a heel saying it. But, like, every wrestler thinks they'll be throwing out 29 other men.
Yeah.
Obviously, because they're a team of 27, but you get the point. They're always like, and when I go in the Rumble, 29 men will be thrown over the top rope. It's like, wait, you've thrown out every single one.
I'm gonna just...
Turn off the video game.
I'm gonna just, you know, far be it from me to bury an entire country, but that is a very American thing. Like, they fucking love their numbers and statistics that make things seem a lot better than they are.
Grander, definitely.
Yeah, like, this library has over 250,000 books on its shelves. Like, no other country would brag about a library that way.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how many have been read, how many are relevant.
Yeah, no, but like,
bullshit.
even if, like, you know, when they do these Rumble promos where they're like, over 600 million tons have been in this ring. Like, it's just this is fucking inquantifiable nonsense. Like,
who's gonna mark out to that?
Obviously, it is quantifiable. Sorry, but like, just generally speaking, it's not information you can fucking do anything with. It doesn't make it any more extravagant. Like,
No, lads, let's recreate that. Let's get a ring. Let's put loads of weight on it and see how many that. That's so true. Or when they go like, Royal Rumbles are all total in the combined 52 hours and 32 minutes. Like, yeah, but I'm not going to watch it all at once.
Yes,
so
fuck off.
Yeah.
Makes no fucking difference. Like, The Big Bang Theory is probably a combined total of like 117 hours, and that is just complete shit from start to finish. So the amount of time something is in length is not at all fucking relevant to its quality.
Is that what they're trying to say? Like, hey, listen, if you put a weekend aside, you can watch most of all the Rumbles ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's just trying to make it seem grand. Like, just, you know, big.
All I want is who's been in the longest, who's been in the least, who has had most eliminations combined.
Exactly.
That's what you want, like moments, you know. Who's been in it more times? How many gimmicks did Kane have when he was in all the matches?
Yeah. How many times did Kai and Tai enter in the year 2000?
Yeah, Rikishi, that time Mick Foley came out of all of his characters, like that sort of shit. Yeah, it's so true. I don't give a shit how many Visceras that equals to, or how many big. It equals to 15 big shows. Yeah, but there isn't 15 big shows, so fuck off.
Yeah.
And also, how come the ring collapses when someone does a suplex? I think I said this before, but it doesn't collapse when you have like 18 people in the Rumble who are much heavier than like Brock and Big Show.
I'll do you one better. Why,
Go
when
on.
someone does the Irish whip, does the person have to fucking continue running until otherwise stopped? Including jumping over their opponent and ducking, like, that whole thing, that's the weirdest fucking thing about wrestling, is the Irish whip. Like, fucking explain that to me with physics.
This is our new segment called kayfabe breaking, which we just take anything that they say and go,
this is bullshit.
We're all bullshit, but there you go, whatever.
Speaking of kayfabe breaking and things that don't make any sense, Randy Orton and John Cena is next, and
Yes,
Cena does a move called the STF, and I don't think anyone is as bad at any move as he is at the STF.
He does the face squeeze STF, an interesting version of it.
Fucking, if you didn't know, if you hadn't seen someone else execute the STF, you would imagine that Cena is doing some kind of leg submission there, and his hand placement is irrelevant. It's fucking brutal. Anyway, so Randy Orton, Cena, do you have anything to say? So this is 21 fucking minutes of this shit.
I'll go through and feel free to jump in, because I took brief notes, but there you go. So we get, first of all, they got one of the most anticipated rematches. Okay. So we get the highlights of the TLC, which looks the better match of the two.
It wasn't, actually. I watched that match live, right?
Was it shit?
There was one fucking terrible Cena is shit thing about it. And I don't subscribe to the idea that Cena is terrible, but he does have huge gaps in his wrestling brain.
Superman Cena, this is, isn't it?
Well, here's a proper example of this, right? There was a moment in the TLC match, and I watched this live and I haven't watched it since, right? So you're talking like 4 years ago here. My memory's not going to be perfect, but I don't know if Randy was going
Cowards. Fucking think for yourself, mate. Gig on. You've got memories. Use them.
I think Randall went for the RKO or something.
Right.
And Cena knocked him to the outside through a table. So he went over the top rope through a table. He might have been FU'd, I don't know. So Randall goes over the top through the table, and that's it. And then Cena just starts climbing the ladder for the belt, right? And you know how in wrestling, if you're climbing a ladder for a belt, you are going to climb that like you've just had a hip replacement. Like, that's just a thing.
Gravity is pushing you down,
exactly.
son.
So Cena doesn't fucking do that. Crawls it like a normal fucking human, which, you know, is actually really good to see in a refreshing way. But, like, Randall is lying there through the table, and he's the guy who has to win the match. So Randall has to just stop selling, get up, run into the ring, chasing up the ladder, and it's just complete. Like, you just put the dude through a table, and then you're gonna run straight up to the top and let him take away all of that. It's ridiculous. It's just, it was such fucking piss poor ring awareness. And I'm just...
That hurts. Especially in that type of match. That type of match should be protected as well.
Exactly. Because those matches are so fucking contrived at this point. Like, I am of the belief that you should not have a TLC match once a year. Or a Hell in a Cell or any of that. Because they're just too contrived for their spots. And they just become formulaic and repetitive. And the TLC, that's a great example of that. But I'd never even seen someone fuck up a TLC match as badly as Cena did in that time. And... I don't know, and I don't hate Cena. I'm not one of those people that will like bash him for everything that he does, but he does have flaws, like really obvious flaws.
Yeah, you can point out flaws about the guy without being like, I hate everything he stands for. You're right. Some of his promos are admittedly very shit. Some of his childish, friendly promos are awful. Mm-hmm. I'm not his audience. I understand that too.
Exactly, yeah.
But,
and I think like in the context of who he's actually catering to, you know, they probably are great. But,
yeah,
you know, as for shouting in the ring, like, no, Shunsky, now, all of that, it's poor.
Or, you know, did you ever see the one where he gets in John Laurinaitis' face? He's like, you're a loser! You're a loser! Like, that was painful to watch.
He does, he has a lot of cringy stuff.
Yeah, a lot of, like, goofy facials. But then again, he is who he is, and that's what he wants to do. Yeah. So, you know, just take it him as a whole, not just point out that and just think about that for the rest of your sort of life. The best I can say about this recap is copy and paste of other bits of feud they had would have been better than this.
Yep.
So obviously we get what we talked about Cena's dad being taken in an ambulance, which seemed very rushed. Like, oh fuck yeah, attack his dad, so do something. It also includes a highlights of Randy Orton literally running out of the arena. So Orton won the undisputed title in December, not too dissimilar to Chris Jericho. He has been booked like a pussy, not too dissimilar from Chris Jericho. Do we just review the same event but with different people on them?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Literally, it's the weirdest thing. Obviously, you know, at the end of the match we'll find out if he's going to WrestleMania or not. But for an undisputed champion, much like the complaints we had in 2001, 2002, he's being booked hella weak. Yeah. Listen, I'm not the biggest Randy Orton fan, but he is not the man. He is not like the guy carrying the company. He's just another guy who happens to be the one holding the titles.
There's another thing about this match that the tagline should have been like Randy Orton versus John Cena, because we've just got no fucking other ideas at this point.
Which is a shame, because they at this point they could have. This would have been the time to experiment with I don't know, maybe pick someone from the Shield, have them challenge for the title. You know, everyone knows Cena would win, but just still stick that person in the Rumble. I'm not saying it has to be Roman. I literally do, and I'm not being like hint. Like, it could be any one of them, but be like the idea of like, oh, there's three of them. You never know. Like, just anything. And have Randy Orton just not wrestle and just say, look, he's a heel. He bought out the fucking Skybox seat. Yeah. And he's just going to sit there. I don't know. They could have gone a different direction. So as Randy Orton was coming out, I went and made a coffee to completion. And that was quite nice, actually. It was like, I can have a break without having to pause this, and I feel like I don't miss anything.
Yeah, you could have...
It's win-win-win, really.
You could have gone out for a 30-minute jog.
Yeah. Yeah, check the weather over in Ipswich. You know, got the boot, the ferry.
Oh, you're just giving away where you're from.
I'm not from Ipswich, and I wouldn't go on a ferry. But people are welcome to do both of those things. We'll see how you get on.
Yeah, one guy asked me, where are you from, by the way, and he said, is Miguel Dutch? So
I am European Dutch, not Scandinavian Dutch. It's just the thing. The chants here are painful. Because I hear a fucking Daniel Bryan chant. Mm-hmm. There are boring chants. There are Cena sucks chants. There are Randy sucks chants.
Randy Savage chants.
Randy Savage.
I think I heard a JBL.
Yeah, then they're gone. So they go, yeah, so the chants kind of get out of hand a little bit of actually it was weird though, because unlike the other match, they weren't talking about people's other gimmicks. They weren't chatting prototype at John Cena.
That would be a fucking amazing chant. I know I said all of that shit about it being terrible when they do that, but if people were to chant
like
prototype,
rare. Because there's so many connections. Like, yeah, he is the prototype of the company. Prototype, dude, I would have loved it. Yeah, so JBL says that the fans get in Orton's head. Cole then says, I thought the voices in his head didn't get the fans into his head. And then Lawler says, you make us wish you were deaf. And then JBL says, I wish you were gone. And this is all happening. This is all very strange.
That is very, very strange. I didn't even pick up.
Just like, they're all like just on drugs. They're just like, it's just, yeah. So JBL's like, I wish you're fucking dead, mate. You, the guy who died on Raw for like 20 minutes, yeah. I don't know, it was weird because Lawler just didn't reply. It sounded like he was a little bit upset.
Well, we speculated that JBL has something on Lawler, and yeah.
Side note, everyone. When you can, head on to Netflix and watch Jim and Andy, Jim Carrey's documentary about the time where he played Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, Man on the Moon.
He went full.
He went to that other place.
He went method, the Jim Carrey. Yeah. He said that like he was feeling Andy, and he's quite a deep guy from what I've picked up as Jim Carrey. So
Jim Carrey has definitely done psychedelics 100%.
Oh yeah, have you seen some of his art? It's of that style, but so he talks about how like pretty much Andy took over. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but the bits with Jerry Lawler are fucking hilarious. So he was in character trying to fight Jerry Lawler and fucking with his trailer, fucking with his truck, and Jerry Lawler's like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Like me and Andy, we were in on this when we did our angle in the 80s. But honestly, like, go and watch that because Jim Carrey just fucks with Jerry Lawler to the point where Jerry Lawler, when the film came out in '99 and Jerry Lawler was talking about it on Raw, every week he kept being like, I want to fight Jim Carrey. Not Andy, not the character. Like, I literally would love to fight Jim Carrey, and that's all I'll say about that. Like, he refused to promote it. Like, he just wouldn't talk about it. He's quite prominent in the film, obviously, because they did the wrestling thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Andy, but yeah, I watched the documentary recently. I just thought it was hilarious when like Jim Carrey looking like Andy Kaufman trying to fight Jerry Lawler, who in '99 wasn't in his best shape, but like would have killed him. Jim Carrey's a tiny dude. So we get a bunch of finishers here. Mm-hmm. Randy Orton in control. This is very much a Super Cena match.
Yeah.
Except they kick out of finishers.
Aren't they all?
Mm-hmm. AA, Orton kicks out.
Cena does the RKO as well, doesn't he?
Cena does the RKO, yes, Orton kicks out. They're now basically going, well, we got other people's finishers. And then, holy shit, the Wyatts attack Cena. I completely forgot this happened at the time when I was watching it. Yeah. I was like, I thought this just sort of ended.
I think I had just burned this fucking match out of my head.
Yeah. So yeah, Orton looks confused. He wins, leaves through the crowd, and then you got your WrestleMania program with Bray Wyatt. This is what I mean about Bray Wyatt being at his peak.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
involved in the title match, and he's involved in the massive opener.
I actually have a fairly controversial point about that. There is this feud between Bray and Cena was pretty good. They had a last man standing match where Cena threw the steps out of the ring at Bray, and that was like a really good GIF worthy moment. Their feud, just a quick word on it, I guess. There was a promo that Cena did in one of the more friendly crowd cities where he just absolutely buried Bray Wyatt, and it was terrible.
They call him fat.
Yeah, like he did that kind
Like
of thing.
along those lines, yeah.
Call him like a redneck and like put pictures up of what Sister Abigail was. Just completely like demeaned his fucking gimmick.
Yeah.
And made him out to be a laughingstock, and
they didn't put any of that in during the Eminem build up.
No, I think this happened after that, though. I think this feud actually continued after Mania.
Oh, we're not covering that, so we can't talk about that. That's when it went fully fucking strange with the kids
Yeah,
in the cage.
That's right. Yeah.
He's got the hope. Yeah. Get out of the way, kid. I'm trying to win this fucking
the whole world. Yeah.
I would have pushed that little kid aside.
I would have fucking
win this cage match.
him in his stupid little face. Yeah.
Listen, you've come out here. You're in my face, singing the song that the other guy sings.
Yeah, you're gonna eat that fucking microphone, you little shit.
Yeah. This is my ring, bitch.
Yeah.
F you from the top of the cage to the outside. Jump down off the cage. 1, 2, 3. Michael Cole's like, Cena is our hero. Well, he stands on the mask and he goes, yeah, motherfucker.
Classic Cena.
And does like the fake gunshot motion. Pa, 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 pa. Cena don't fuck around. But yeah, they beat the shit out of. What I liked about the beatdown angle that they did as well was that Bray only came in once Cena had been sufficiently beaten up by the other two.
Yeah.
And that very much like, I will not get my hands dirty until he's weakened, and I will put in the finishing touches. So it's a very, very, very cerebral, if you will. So they do a Mae Young tribute.
Yeah. She died 10 days before the Rumble.
Now, is she's okay now they're doing the Fabulous Moolah thing, which is the fiasco there so Fabulous Moolah, not Mae Young.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
those two did live together though for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's widely speculated that they were engaged in some kind of lesbian relationship because Fabulous Moolah was almost certainly gay.
If the stories are to be anything close to believed, and by the look of things, they should be believed.
Yeah. So a couple of notes on this promo. It's actually terrible. This is like an in memoriam promo. It's supposed to be like, look how great Mae Young was, but the problem is, even though her career spanned 8 fucking decades, the only footage that they have of her is when she's 94 and doing shit that isn't funny. And wasn't funny at the time, so it's
basically
terrible.
Being old and sexy.
Yeah,
so sexy? No, whoa.
Well, trying to be
sexy.
Yeah, but like you're watching this promo with like sad music, and Stephanie is talking about what a great inspiration she was and how influential she was in the industry, and you're looking at videos of her like trying to fuck Mark Henry.
Wait. Whoa, it's some weird wavelength over here. Yeah, that or when that was it, and she's like, oh, shit, such a big heart. And it's like, seems all she did was like comedy sketches. Like, yeah. I am not a Mae Young expert.
No.
But there's footage of Fabulous Moolah in the fucking 80s because she had the title for about 100 years, obviously.
That's right, yeah.
But with Mae Young, like, I don't know too much about her except that she was the ballsier one. She was the one that went through tables. She was the one that took the splash from Viscera when he was feuding with Mark. When she was,
That's right, yeah.
She was with Mark. And obviously she was the one that appeared on the Brian Kane, Dr. Shelby sketch at the little drive-in, and she's like, I'll have whatever they're having.
That was good. That was funny.
Yeah, I think that was in the package, which is pretty cool.
It was.
We go to the goddess again, Renee Young.
Yeah, Mae Young's daughter, Renee Young.
Wow. I didn't even think. Presumably they're fucking... Darren Young's also in the family mix.
No, it's actually Ashley Young.
All right. Ashley Young.
Yeah.
No. Darren Young. He was a wrestler.
Yeah, no, but Ashley Young, the Man United fullback, winger turned fullback.
Hang on, there's too many Youngs.
He was married to Mae Young.
Oh, was he?
He was,
wow.
yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, well, just a little fact about him: he had a fucking bird shit in his mouth once, didn't he? Do you remember that?
I certainly fucking do.
I felt horrible. I don't have an opinion on him as a player, but I felt so fucking horrible because it's like, not only is that, as a man who's been shat on by flying fucking rats before.
Yeah.
Luckily, it happened to me when no one was around, so I kind of just, took the shit off my head and kept going on about my day.
Yeah,
but
same.
to happen in a football pitch,
In your mouth.
on camera, like inside your mouth,
Yep.
that's basically at work. That happened to him at work. That happened to you at work. Happened to me at work. I wouldn't go back.
I would go home, yeah. I would live out my days in my basement.
Can I go home? Why? Well, I was on the way to work, and a bird shat from the skies above, and it landed inside of my mouth. I should go now. I'd get all sorts of shots and fucking make sure I'm clean of all sorts of diseases. That's horrible. But that's the Young family for you. So here come the New Age Outlaws, everybody.
This is such a fucking waste of time.
Are they still knackered from the opening match?
It does look that way. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the dog. That's my impression of Road Dogg.
It's very good.
Renee, we've been doing this for 14 years, and you can tell.
Yeah. Then they're like, new champs. And
yeah, we got 2 words for you. New champs! With a Z, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
The Jared Law looks very confused, as much as the fans are. So we get some promos.
All right, this is the most inexplicable part of the entire night.
The creme de la creme.
Yeah, so like, there's some fucking cunts talking, like, fucking always the same. Like, I think Albert and Taz, Scotty Too Hotty, they all appear.
A shot this year, yeah.
But then, so Fandango appears on the screen, and he goes, "Who better to main event WrestleMania than Fandango?" And then Batista appears, and you know what he says? He says...
Exactly. I know! I looked at that, and I was just like, well, so he thinks that Fandango should main event?
What does it all mean?
Are they a team? It's very odd. It's like
it makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Like, I get the idea of have this guy have a
who do you think's gonna win the Rumble? Oh, is it you? And blah blah. But like, the idea is that question has to be asked. But because the way that everyone is answering it very much sounds like they're being asked different questions.
Yeah, and Batista just says exactly Fandango would be the best guy.
I agree. Yes, as if, because I wrote Big Dave, lol, stares at the camera and says exactly, and just 4 question marks next to it. Exactly what?
What he said.
Yeah. I mean, come on, he wasn't even trying there.
No.
Exactly.
Very
exactly
odd.
Fucking what? Nice promo by Damien Sandow. He says stuff.
But fucking Ryback says, "Tonight, my unlimited energy will take me to WrestleMania." And again, I must ask, this dude is fucking knackered from walking to the ring. Like, nobody is less deserving of the tag unlimited energy than this guy.
Limited energy.
It should just say limited energy.
It reminds me of that bit in commentary that you probably get this on a clip as well online. It's a legendary clip where Booker T's like, "With limited skill and ability, John Cena gets it done." Just calls him out. "With barely any talent, there he is." Obviously, he's saying that he's like, Booker T's always trying. He's reasoning that he's like superhuman, like he's, overachieving, but the way he said it, with limited skill and ability. Like, well, I've checked his ability.
With a lower IQ than the average man, he's managed to pass the test.
He gets it done. Ryback says there's only one human wrecking ball, Taz. So, Rey Mysterio sounds about 12. I won the Rumble. I was in there for 60 minutes.
All odds, I was given the Royal Rumble win because my best friend and better man than me, Eddie Guerrero, died.
Remember that? Well, I hope you don't boo me in the ring. Hacksaw picks Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
HBK goes... By the way, HBK put over Bryan massively after the opener.
Yeah, well, they're best pals.
Yeah, which is hilarious because he cost him the world title a few pay-per-views ago by super kicking him.
That's right, yeah.
And then Bryan, this is the weirdest thing because they had to so they were at a sort of, I don't know what's the word, standstill because they were like, well, Shawn can't wrestle.
Yeah.
Bryan can wrestle, but he's not going to wrestle Shawn because Shawn's a face and he's a respect and it would be horrible. So Shawn came out to apologize. I don't know if you remember watching this at the time, but Bryan just puts him in the yes lock, and Shawn Michaels does the whole my arm, holy shit, he just broke this retired man's arm.
Beat the shit out of a legend. And then they mirrored that and had Seth Rollins do the same thing. Like a few years
Who did
later.
he do it to? To Shawn?
Yeah, to Shawn as well, yeah.
Was he a heel, though, at that time?
I forget, but it was fucking stupid anyway, whatever happened.
It was odd. It was just, get this over and done. But yeah, so Shawn goes with the Shield of CM Punk.
But did you notice that when they cut to this, when they cut to the fucking, what do you call this thing? Round table. Panel, yeah, thank you. Jesus Christ.
He wasn't there, unfortunately.
when they cut to the panel, Flair is dancing and HBK is looking at him and laughing. And then Josh Matthews starts talking and then they stop and they go back to normal. And then
little kids.
So Hacksaw says Dolph, Punk says blah blah blah, and Flair is like, you guys are idiots because my boy Batista is gonna win this. Woo! Batista is going all the way, and he properly starts shouting.
They're mic'd, by the way.
Yeah, I know, and the whole crowd is like, what the fuck is going on?
They start to boo, and he learned to love it.
Yeah.
He's either he's in that sweet spot.
He's
we've all been there. No. I think he's in that sweet spot. We've all been there on nights out, which is between drink 3 and drink 8.
No, I think he's on line 5, pal.
Which is his normal, isn't it? That's his
that's true,
functioning. Yeah. Because he's still together enough to he's saying mad things, but he's not just getting his dick out. He's not going completely off his tits, and he doesn't forget people's names or anything. But he's just learned to love it. Almost as if he's saying this will definitely happen.
Yeah.
Learn to love it because it'll happen in about an hour. But there you go. That's the consortium for you.
Yeah.
I am talking about Ric Flair. The consortium was me. Everyone's yelling and they go away. So, famed passport loser due to JBL's antics is Senor Justin Roberts. He goes over the Royal Rumble rules. Do you know about that story?
No.
So it's in Justin Roberts' book that JBL took his passport and the guy couldn't get out. I think they're doing a UK tour and he couldn't get out for ages. He had to go through the embassy. Haha, ribs.
Classic JBL.
Yeah. If someone did that to me, I would probably just want that guy fired. That's probably the more realistic thing.
I would probably take it to the relevant channels.
I'd probably go to a bureau and say, yo, can you... Maybe obviously he's Vince's boy, so fuck all happens to him. Which, by the way, the reason why I brought that up, because it would have been around this time period as well that happened. So, let's do this!
Yeah, so we start out with CM Punk's last ever entrance in the Fed.
For the last time ever. Fantasy booking excluded.
Yeah.
So, Seth the Man Rollins comes out.
Yeah.
Second, which is a pretty cool start with these two.
Yeah, cool to see them go head to head. You want to hear my notes for the next entrant?
Let's do it.
Sandow comes out, who fucking cares?
Cody comes out after that. We get a bunch of generic spots.
Yeah.
It's Corporate Kane!
Punk doing the neckbreaker to Rollins and DDT to Sandow at the same time was pretty cool.
Very cool.
I think Punk eliminates Sandow before Kane comes out.
throughout the match, and I guess at this point, because he's kind of still very much one of the few people in, did you notice anything different about Punk? Because I didn't think a thing. Like, it's not like, you know, he's got a wink in his eye. Like, when Corporate Kane comes out, it cuts to Punk and he looks terrified, which is obviously where the storyline was going.
Yeah.
Which was Kane, Punk at the next pay-per-view, and then after that would have been Punk Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was my sense of it too. The only thing that I did notice about Punk was that he looked fucking knackered, and I don't just mean because he was in the Rumble for the longest time, but also he looks kind of skinny. Like, he looks a little bit
Lost
unhealthy.
definition, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
In his body. Yeah, I think so as well. And not having a dick, because the dude's probably still in better shape than I'll ever be, at least. Obviously, tattoos help quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if anyone else is a bit skinny and wants to look pretty badass, just get some tattoos across you. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because I think if he didn't have any tattoos, I think he'd look like fucking... Actually, it wouldn't look like Jumpin' Jeff Farmer, because that's going a bit back. But have you ever seen the Jumpin' Jeff Farmer promo?
No.
Oh, after this ends, we're gonna have a little YouTube purge. Don't worry, guys. I'll introduce Elton Nero to Jumpin' Jeff Farmer, and he'll be quoting the memes for days. Yeah, Kane looks in phenomenal shape, though.
Yeah, he does, but he just looks like a fucking imbecile with his suit.
Jeans.
Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ.
Jeans, not even like a tights, because that must be so uncomfortable to wrestle
I
in.
know. No gloves, no, he just looks like a fucking complete and utter cretin.
He does. He looks weak. Like, you know when you play the new SmackDown vs. Raw, and you can actually, WWE, I think it's called now.
2K18,
whatever number.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can redo their clothes and
Yeah.
just be like, that's what they did to Kane. They just took away his Kane parts and were like, wouldn't it be funny if he came out in jeans and they said he was a demon? How's he a demon?
Like, Glenn Jacobs isn't Kane. They're different
No.
men. Like,
One's a libertarian. One isn't.
but when he comes out with no mask and like no Kane gear, like that's just
It's fucking blowtorch hair that
Yeah.
literally looks like someone cut it. Just like, can you just burn half the side off and just leave me with a fucking triangle up the front? Kane, you're a multi-millionaire. You can have a proper haircut.
yeah.
Or not. Okay. So, Rusev Machka. Oh, Kane gets eliminated, by the way.
Kane goes for chokeslam, Punk roundhouse kicks him and then eliminates him. He lasts a total of 1 minute in the Rumble. Then Rusev's first ever appearance in the Fed, outside of NXT. The Bulgarian Brute, he comes in, he does a spinning heel kick. It's very, very nice.
Looks a bit fat. Like, I think he's in much better shape now.
Yeah, he definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got weird hair. Oh, because I think that this time period, just especially in this Rumble, everyone, or majority of people who are in this, they're all, apart from a couple, they're all in, like, their gimmicks much better, and they're in much better shape, I've noticed.
Rusev doesn't look the part here, but he looks the part now.
No.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
strange.
And that's obviously what time in the main roster will do to you, because
Yeah.
in terms of rookies, it's a fairly youngish roster they've got here, other than a few people. We'll talk about that as they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Rusev looks like he's about to cry when he comes out as well.
Yeah.
They do that close-up, and he's meant to look intimidating, but he just looks vacant. They stopped doing that when he's and he just like cuts him. He's just like, just a normal face, not like an intimidating face. So yeah, Jacques Swagger come out next.
Yeah, Zeb holds up a sign that says, every 90 seconds, another illegal immigrant sneaks across the border.
That would be funny if he said that a immigrant sneaks into the Rumble.
Yeah.
And then Rey Mysterio comes out after him. Anyways, that's disrespectful.
Or Del Rio.
Yeah, or Del Rio.
Future fucking partner.
Friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, partner and friend. So Kofi was out next. Here's another one who I think now has a far better gimmick.
And he's fresh off a clean win over the champ on Raw. So
Yeah.
he's...
What does that get you?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, for that and what's the saying? Well, that and 15 cents will get you a cup of coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, yeah. There we go. Yeah. So An Uso appears.
Yeah, it's Jimmy the
Let's
Gent.
call him Jimmy. Yeah, the gentle giant Jimmy, yes.
Gotta say, up to this point, this is the most bland Rumble ever, and there is nothing to report.
You know what's funny? Because if they came out now with their characters now, I think that would have most of these people, other than like Jack Swagger, but I think most of these people would have been over as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, they're all good workers. I think the work rate in terms of, compare that to the Rumble like in 2011, I think all these guys can go.
Yeah.
Other than like Kane. So, it's just like you said, everyone just felt very, especially when Usos and New Day, Kofi came out, like, both of those guys and their teams have come a long way as well.
You could hear the shovel scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point, though. Like, this Rumble is really lacking up to this point.
Yes.
And then, step forward, Goldust.
Yes.
And he gets a
the
really big
golden
pop.
man.
And I think that says something about the inertia in the crowd. Like, they're delighted to see Goldust. And we fucking love Goldust on this podcast, but, I mean...
It's odd, isn't it? Because he already wrestled.
Yeah.
So, because I was like, is he coming back or something? I was like, no, he's part of the roster. He was a champion until earlier tonight. But yeah, he gets a nice pop.
Yeah.
After that, we got... By the way, the reason why we're not talking about the spots is because, quite frankly, there aren't any.
Nothing happened.
I think there is the Kofi crowd barrier spot with Rusev here.
So that happens here. Rhodes, Kingston, and Punk all eliminate Rusev together. And then Kofi gets knocked off the apron into the arms of Rusev, who mangles him and leaves him on the barricade. And then he leaves, and then Kofi jumps from the barricade to the apron, which is... fantastic agility, and the only thing of note that has happened thus far.
Yeah, there's your one, Kofi. Well done. Mm-hmm. Your highlight reel will look fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's a shame that like he does it, like in a kayfabe sense, he does so much to stay in the match, but he never wins it.
They should give him a battle royale win.
Yeah, just something to be like. By the way, acrobatics do count for it.
Yeah.
Look, this guy has win. Yeah, it's so true. Like. I'm not saying I think he's too big for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, but if he hasn't, maybe if the other two in the New Day are wrestling, maybe you can just stick him in there and have him win that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would be nice. So up next we have U.S. champion Dean Ambrose.
Hotel, Echo, Alpha, Omega, Shield.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show you world. Fuck off! It's Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, and he's over as hell here.
He is. And he looks back at this going, if only it was 2018, it was loved. He was the internet darling.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
It was on the fringes now, because he's already cashed in his money in the bank, I think. Because that was the Raw after WrestleMania a year ago.
Right, yeah.
So he already had that moment. But I think we as a collective wrestling watchers hadn't given up on him yet. We're still going, come on, Ziggler.
I'm still rooting for him. But
as a heel or a face now, though?
I just want...
Now it's in 2018,
I don't even know anymore. I just want him to figure himself out. I just want him to find himself.
Go away.
Stop carrying around all this anger.
Come back in 6 months. Just go, listen, I was a little bit crazy, guys, over there.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the Spirit Squad. This is where I belong. Nikki! It'd be over. So...
R-Truth.
Yeah. R-Truth did exist.
Yeah, he lasts a grand total of 28 seconds in this. He gets eliminated by Dean Ambrose after he gets double-teamed by Ambrose and Rollins. And finally we get a bit of Shield action, which is followed by Ambrose knocking out Jimmy Uso after the setup from Rollins.
Very glad you noted that, because I didn't. That barely happened.
After that, Swagger tries to eliminate Kofi, and Kofi unties his boot.
Very clever.
Yeah, and then he whacks.
The boot.
Yeah, and then...
And then, well, and then WrestleMania.
Business picks up.
Some people say you have to go, I don't know, climb a mountain to get that, that rush of adrenaline. If anyone says that in my presence, I look them straight in the eye and I say, have you got the WWE Network? It doesn't matter what they say, and anyone can take this advice. Yes, no, whatever.
Yeah.
I go, Royal Rumble 2014, go out halfway through, look up who's number 13. Kevin Nash
14.
comes out to the NWO music.
Yeah.
And what's even more hilarious is JBL's going like, Nash could win it. What?
He's in great shape here.
Dyed his hair. Magic Mike money, baby. He got in mad shape for that fucking film.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash comes out. he fucking chucks out the swagger.
And he's like, I don't like you, you little shit.
Again, it's nice to be friends with the big boss. even in your fucking 50s, yeah? Also, like, do people just not go, you must dye your hair because you had white hair like a year ago? And you'll have white hair a year after. It's odd that people just accept Kevin Nash as a man who changes his hair.
I don't think he dyed it.
I think he dyed it white to look older.
Exactly.
And I think this is what he actually looks like. Yeah, but the fact that JBL's going he could win it makes me think that all the commentators were fucking drunk. Like, he's meant to be the nostalgia guy. But they're going over his stats.
He's Diesel.
But he's beaten Bob Backlund in 94. He can do it.
That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
So he picks up
seconds.
Swagger and boots him into row Z.
Swagger was world champion not that long ago. No, I don't like him.
Don't remind me.
But, come on. Yeah, but I think anybody who was that is now getting big booted by Kevin Nash. You've got to really consider your status within the company. And then
the big dog.
Did you hear the women react to it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, them ladies were loving it. I love that his first move is just a fucking drive-by boot to Cody.
Was it not to CM Punk?
Oh yeah, sorry, it's to him and then a spear to Cody.
Spear to Cody. Throws Kofi over the top with an absolutely incredible display of raw power. Takes a huge DDT from Dolph.
Easy there, Michael Cole.
And then, listen, let me read out my fucking notes.
Go for it.
And then he takes a huge DDT from Dolph before planning him into the mat. Now, he hits him with the most amazing spear I've ever seen him do. He throws Ziggler over. He eliminates Kevin Nash. He
Wait. The Kevin Nash non-bump.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I absolutely did.
So Roman kind of half closed him out with the rope, and he hung on to it. He's like, and then he just sort of dropped on the other side, but he was about an inch off the ground anyways.
Roman has
that was so funny.
When he gets up after leaning over to eliminate Nash, his look, he's just the coolest fucking guy in the ring. Like, he's just this silverback gorilla, fucking bench pressing people over the top rope, and just what a man.
Great Khali is out next. And just want to say again, so he hangs onto the rope, obviously he gets eliminated, and JBL says, it was lucky they got rid of Kevin Nash. They were lucky. How lucky are you, Roman? You nearly got killed by Kevin Nash. By the way, I don't have any problems with Kevin Nash. I just found odd how they were putting him over, yeah, he could do this.
Yeah, fuck off, Miguel. Kevin Nash is the man.
They should fuck off by telling me that in 2014 he is the man. In the 90s, the dudes with attitudes. He's not fucking now, but Great Khali comes out next with this banger song. Man, he looks awful. I actually saw him around his debut, so 2006.
Yeah, I think we both watched that at the same time, didn't we? And I don't know if you remember around that time, but I really fucking hated him. And I was campaigning to get this cunt off the fucking screen because he was legit awful and also an IRL murderer in the ring. So
yes.
I was like, hell no, I don't want this cunt fucking about. And just he can't do fucking anything. He can't fucking say a sentence. He can't walk in a straight line.
Did you know though the Indians love him?
I know.
He's got superstar status there. They used to edit out his matches
I know.
and put him in the main event.
I know. One of my mates works with a bunch of Indians, and apparently they still fucking love the Great Khali.
Great golly, they fucking love him. They love him there. And just goes to show that WWE does care about other nations, you know, in the most patronizing way.
Well, India is like the only fucking country keeping kayfabe alive at this point, so...
That is true, yeah. We'll see what happens when they hit Saudi Arabia again.
Yeah.
Imagine if they go to Saudi Arabia and all the fucking Saudi Arabian smarks are there. They're all going, Husky Harris. Because it's all men, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Like, fucking hell, these guys know their fucking wrestling. Yeah, they just start chanting, prototype, and fucking, that was more Russian, and fucking, at Cena, and they just, and they start, you just hear, like, all these guys going, Vince McMahon is out of touch, and it's just like, wow, these guys are in the know. Yeah, sorry, I would just like the idea of the smart Saudi Arabian fans.
Yeah, that is really funny.
Yeah, so hopefully it happens, you know. They boo, like, see, this is the problem, is that they WWE confuses Indian with, like, the Middle East, with wrestlers from the Middle East. So I was going to be like, oh, they ironically boo Jinder, and I was about to be as bad as the other guys.
Yeah.
But I didn't say that, so I'm not. There's a Daivari, so they could have booed him, ironically.
That's
Whatever.
true, yeah.
Yeah, so Superman punch, and Roman takes him out.
Yep.
And did you see? He took the opposite of the Kevin Nash bump.
Yeah, that's because he's a fucking...
He landed hard on his knees, and his knees are knackered as well.
The Great Khali was not born. He fucking congened in a gutter somewhere. He's
just never stopped congening.
Yeah, he's a fucking disgrace of a man.
If he crawled out of the sewer, people would probably be like, put it back.
Yeah.
Like, that is not a man. Although I'd probably... Actually, to be fair, though, would you fuck with him? Do you reckon? Because he's one of them people that's, like, so tall that he might not be that tough, if that makes sense.
I reckon, yeah, you just fucking stare at his leg and he'd fall over.
That's
You
what I
can't
mean,
walk
like...
in a straight line, like.
Yeah. You'd carry, like... You wouldn't carry anything. I'm not saying encouraging assault of a man. I'm saying is, like, the Big Show would be tougher to kind of get into a fight with. Because he still has, like, mobility and movement. He could swing for you. I think those two had a backstage fight once.
Jesus Christ.
Which would have been the scariest thing, trying to break that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what Nash wanted to avoid. Where are we at? Cody out by Goldust. There we go.
And then Reigns eliminates Goldust. And then it's Punk versus The Shield, and then Sheamus.
Well, you marked.
Yeah, I absolutely did. Went mental.
At the time, I remember Sheamus coming out, and we were just going, oh, Jesus Christ. And I'm pretty sure every other person that comes out from now on, there is a moment where we're all going, oh, Jesus Christ. And it's not even he coming back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
This is a return from one of his many muscle injuries.
Yep.
That he gets every couple of years and fucks off. Which actually I think works quite well for him, because it always refreshes him.
Yeah, I think Sheamus is awesome. And it's nothing to do with the fact that he's Irish. He just is, like, he's legit good, and he can always do a job, like, so. Yeah,
and he never has horrifically bad matches. I think his feud with Alberto a couple of years ago was done to death, but that's a different kind of angle on that, as opposed to the content of the matches. But yeah, he looked like a fucking maniac when he ran out to the ring.
Yeah, clobbering everything that moves. He gave the 10 beats of the Boweron to Ambrose, Irish Curse to Rollins, and then a Brogue Kick to Roman. So
Irish Curse is a great name, by the way.
Yeah.
It's also a great name for an indie band.
I also like
that would only work in, like, not Ireland.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you wouldn't be like, you're our curse. Yeah, we're cursed to have you here.
I like the name 10 Beats of the Boweron because people always ask me what the fuck that means.
That just means of the bell, doesn't it?
Nah, a Boweron is like a fucking.
Let me look at it. How'd you spell it?
Badhran. It's like a sheep skin thing, like a drum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's got the little dash on the A.
Yeah, it's called a fada. It lengthens the sound. It's actually Bauron.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that like some fucking ancient shit?
Yeah.
Well, I want to see what year it would have been used.
Yeah, like the Celts would have used it. The ancient Celt civilization. That would have been how they got music.
Sorry, I just said that in the most ignorant way. Nah, you used that shit back in the day, did you? Oh, I actually would like to know how they work, but that's not this podcast.
I tell you how they don't work. They don't work by beating them like the way he beats Ambrose in the chest here. You won't get any fucking sound out of it by doing that. But anyway, number 18, The Miz, and this is where the match like proper fucking stagnates.
Babyface Miz, bro.
Yeah, Jesus. I've said it before, I'm not a fan of The Miz. I know he's a great heel, he's a great worker, he's great for the business, but I'm just not that into him. I can't get into his character at all. Not in the way that I hate him because he's a heel that gets under my skin. I'm just not into him.
Go away, heat, basically.
Yeah, from me, yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate and accept that I'm wrong. But
you're also entitled to your opinion.
Exactly.
Like, not everything has to be utterly justified. Usually, and I guess we should note this, when we're saying, you know, because you could just as well point that argument back to us and say, well, the fans are just expressing their opinion. I think it's when it's a general consensus on chanting about something that everyone knows, haha, this is funny, this is ironic, that it grades on both of us.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to speak for you on this, but I feel like we're the same. Because there's this idea, this mob mentality develops straight away. Oh, we don't like Roman. Nah, yeah, none of us like Roman. And anyone who says a nice thing about Roman is a mark and doesn't get the business.
Yeah.
And that is what we're not for, you know?
Exactly.
Like saying you don't like The Miz or I didn't like X-Pac doesn't mean like, oh, you just don't understand the business. It's like, nah, dude, he's not one of the people I like. I know he's appreciated by certain people, but I don't like him. Which is not the argument you ever can have about Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to clear that up because I don't want people coming back and being like, oh, you give shit, but can you take it? Well, there's a difference.
Yeah.
So, got that one covered. Fandango comes up next, and this is when his song was damn over.
Batista's pick.
Exactly. All the fans keep doing the song.
And you know what else they do as soon as he gets in the fucking ring? Daniel
Nothing.
Bryan.
Yeah, they go silent over that.
fucking
I
says
completely
it all.
forgot about this. Completely forgot about the Fandango. I'm really popular in the iTunes charts run. This would have been at the end of it, I think.
He's still fucking around, isn't he? He's still in the Fed. Is he?
Yeah, he's with
Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, who was far better in NXT.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was great in NXT.
Like, yeah. But, you know, as he points out on Twitter, at least he's got a job and he gets paid nicely.
Yeah,
so.
and
Exactly.
fucking, yeah, too right. Someone has to do that job.
Yeah.
So him and Miz actually have a really nice exchange where they try and eliminate each other, but that doesn't stop the Daniel Bryan chants. And then, number 20, El Torito, who...
The ultimate... Oh, shit, they've shat the bed here.
in kayfabe is a bull.
Yes. In reality, is not a bull. It's just a very tiny man.
Yeah, and he
Just
does...
for anyone wondering.
Yeah, thank you for clearing that up.
Yo, I've seen behind the scenes. I'm told that he's a man. Not a bull, sorry. He goes for Punk, though, which is quite funny.
Yeah, I'm not into this. I don't know.
Did you not like Punk grabbing at his head like a cartoon when he's swinging his arms and then out of that he does a head scissors?
It's weird, but like I'm no fun that way. Like I just don't enjoy silliness for the sake of silliness.
You must have a heart of gold, mate. all that darkness in there. What's not funny about a little Mexican man pretending to be a bull?
Well, when you put it like that.
So much wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought sometimes you need comedy in the Rumbles.
Well, you're wrong.
there's plenty of comedy coming up, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if you like watching the painful death of an event. Yeah. So
He eliminates Fandango.
Yes. And
Roman Reigns is having none of it.
Chucks his ass down.
Yeah. Roman said what I was thinking.
Torito is gone. So we're now at number 21, I think.
Yep, that's correct.
And you could time it yourself, but they stole your watch.
Yep, it's Cesaro.
It's that fucking Swiss nationalist. You know them Swiss people are like the most neutral country you can think of.
Yep.
Them fucking neutrals. They just Vince backstage.
Neutral pricks.
Neutral vassals. Right, pretend you're from Austria. Bah. Yes, because he had the... Hang on, is the Swiss flag the one that looks like the Red Cross? Or no, the Austrian flag's just a flag. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Just make sure I got that right. Which is why then Cesaro had the ambulance sounds, because I think Vince thinks that the country he's from is also the Red Cross. Out of touch. That's the only connection I see between that entrance and that man's nationality.
Nah, it's a throwback to Perry Saturn.
Do you remember Moppy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Raven, my boy, killed Moppy, and then it stopped working during the live broadcast. And he's just like, because Raven is putting the thing in the wood chopper thing.
Yeah.
And Raven's doing the voice of Moppy, and it just stops, and Raven's like, I'm in pain. He's like trying to quickly turn it back on. So he almost has a fucking monologue from Moppy's perspective.
Jesus Christ.
Like what's going on in his head. Very funny. That's why you pre-tape. I was really annoyed when Cesaro did the big swing and the camera kept zooming in and out.
Yeah, it made me
gave
dizzy.
me a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. It's like when the Shield used to come out and the cameraman used to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Just keep the angle like the hard camera. I think they will look far better. Just the one continuous shot rather than woo.
I have a controversial take on it.
Don't use this camera.
No, even worse. Stop doing the fucking swing.
Not a fan?
It was great the first 200 fucking times, and now he has to do it in every single match, and it's just not like... Because it's not like an effective move anyway, right? And it's stupid and ridiculous, and it's a great little gimmicky thing to do. But like every match with this fucking thing, like...
Shouldn't win the Rumble with it.
Yeah. Won the Rumble by swinging everyone over the top rope.
Individually swinging dudes like a fuck, yeah.
See how far he can get them.
What's that cartoon, Tasmaniac?
Yeah, Tasmanian Devil.
Just spins his way through, yeah. So up at number 22 is Bray Wyatt's theme.
Yeah.
And everyone assumes it's Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, this is actually interesting because the whole Wyatt family doesn't come out, but at number 25, Rowan comes out, and Michael Cole says, and it's the other member of the Wyatt family. And you're like there counting on your fingers like, well, Luke Harper's in the ring. Bray Wyatt has already wrestled, and Eric Rowan is also there. So you're saying the other member, singular, but there are two other guys. So, which fucking one do you mean, you imbecile?
Yeah, and also it's like, yeah, they're using the last names of their family.
Yeah,
like,
I know, yeah.
It's not like Bray Wyatt and his followers, even though it's technically what it is, but it's not, they're the Wyatt family, so yes, the other one.
I get it, it's deliberately like the Manson family that way, though, isn't it? Where, like, none of them were actually last named Manson, apart from Marilyn Manson, he was.
Yeah. And Monroe Manson.
That's correct.
She switched it around later on. So here we go. JBL's theme hits. I don't know if I missed anyone.
How could you have missed Jey Uso?
Big Jey Uso.
Something that happened in the middle here. Roman Reigns hit a fucking great spear on Cesaro. So there's a spear for everybody.
The big spear
on
the by the big dog on the Swiss nationalist.
The Swiss Superman, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so sorry. So then we get, because I don't know, I actually rewound this once I found out it was JBL next, and it's funny because when the countdown starts, he actually laughs.
Yeah.
He's like, ha ha ha, ball game. He doesn't say ball game. Yeah. So up next is JBL in his little suit.
Yeah, and here. I'll tell you something, right? So JBL obviously he gets up, gets onto the apron, wipes his feet. Michael Cole says, "This is the first time the JBL character has ever entered a Rumble," which is really weird because that's kind of breaking the fourth wall.
I wrote that exact same thing down.
Yeah, very odd comment to make. But then JBL gets into the ring, gives Michael Cole his jacket, and as that's happening, Roman Reigns throws him over the top. Interestingly, and you will not believe this, JBL is not the quickest elimination in this Rumble, nor is he the second quickest elimination, nor is he the third. He is the fourth quickest elimination. So he lasted, like, out of all the longest lasting guys, he's number 26.
He took his sweet time, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he fucking did, yeah.
Yeah, which is mad.
But that's his actual in-ring time. Not his from the commentary thing to the ring. His actual, once he's under those ropes, it's actually the 27 because it's 30, 29, 28. Then
yeah. He's one in it, yeah.
Yeah, so he like, you know, that's not bad.
So, I'm trying to think back. Without going on without doing a cheat code on Wikipedia.
Kane is the quickest, I think.
Kane or Great Khali wasn't there long.
Yeah, I think Khali. Nash lasted. R-Truth is actually the one. So it goes Kane.
Oh, okay.
And then who did we fucking say after that?
Khali.
Kane, Khali, R-Truth. Or sorry, Kane, R-Truth, Khali, and then JBL, I think. I could be
crazy.
wrong with that, but if
because you're right, like that's really mad. Because you have the idea of like, well, he's in there and he's taking his fucking coat off. And by the way, like, I enjoyed it, but it's such a corny spot. He's like leading halfway down. Hey, Michael. It's like, just you can go to WrestleMania, bro. Like, what's going on?
He also gets really weird. Like so when like Luke Harper and Jey Uso were out, who are the two people who preceded him, he's there in the ring saying he's there on the commentary saying, "Oh, the Rumble is amazing. It's so exciting, isn't it, guys? You got all sorts of different people. You got legends, you got comebacks, you got everything. It's so exciting. I'm so excited." And then he's next. Excuse me. And then he gets eliminated. And he picks up the headphones again. He's like, "I told you, the Rumble is so exciting. This is great, isn't it? Isn't this great?" And then he's like, "Where's Batista? I just want Batista to come out."
I think, yeah, so the joke there is like he banged his head and he's just like, it's a little, I swear someone else did that. Where they were talking on commentary. I think it might have been Lawler a couple of years ago. You know, that one Rumble that Booker, Lawler, Cole were all in.
Yeah, that was shit.
Travesty. And, I think that was it. They walked in and they'd go back and sit down and be like, "Oh, yeah, so as I was saying," and they're all like, "Man, you were in the ring," and he's like, "Yeah, crazy." I think it's a bit of that, Yeah, I know, but I don't think JBL... Did you think he played that joke well enough? I thought he played it really awkwardly.
Really, really awkwardly.
Yeah, like, we still got it. You know, we're talking about it. But it was just, I don't know, I didn't think it clicked as well as, like, as a concept. Maybe, because he doesn't really have comedic like that, I guess. I think Lawler would have worked better for that.
Yeah, probably. I think at this point, they're all kind of really stale and uncomfortable outside their gimmicks. Like, the funniest shit was on the Raw when JBL and King were talking about the Memphis, the Tennessee, whatever Lawler's wrestling company was.
Memphis, yeah.
Memphis.
Oh, yeah, and he talks about booking, yes.
Yeah, like, that was really good. But, like, those are the only real bright sparks in commentary. Everything else is sort of, like, they're trying really fucking hard. And it's not really sticking. Like, three of them together just didn't work. Because King is not really in a gimmick at all. He's just kind of there. He doesn't actually add anything. And then Cole is supposed to be the play-by-play commentator, which obviously he's like just not skilled at. Like, sorry. And then JBL is there to add color, and I think JBL does that really well. But this joke that he's making is just not part of that gimmick at all. So it sounded really fucking weird and really outside the scope and stuff.
No one reacted.
Yeah, I know.
That was the other problem is Cole wasn't like, you were just in the ring, John. What happened, John? I think he might have said that once, but JBL just talked over him, and then the next person came out. Because like, the 2-minute thing is a fucking gimmick.
Yeah,
like the minute and a half or what. Like, some people come out within a minute, some people literally come out in 48 seconds, some people come out like 3 minutes later. It's booking around the match.
That's what Zeb Coulter's sign was referencing when it said you could time it yourself, but they stole your watch. Like, I honestly think that's a reference. It's a tiny little reference to the fact that it's not 90 seconds.
Yeah, a little wink for the camera there.
Yeah.
So up next we have the other member of the Wyatt family,
Eric Rowan. Yeah.
Eric. Yeah, he's the shittest one, I think.
Without a doubt. He also he once had a fucking stairs match with the Big Show. So.
You mean stairs or chairs? Because he wouldn't know which. I think it was literally a stairs match, wasn't it?
Was literally at tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
Stairs. And Cole's like, those stairs weigh like 300 pounds. Fuck off.
Jesus.
That's a lie. Yeah. So you're lying, Cole. Yeah. So he's around. Apparently, he's there.
Yeah.
And
him and Harper eliminate Miz. Then they eliminate Jey Uso, and then. Number 26.
The big guy.
Feed me some.
Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg.
So the only reason why he was depushed, by the way, is because he's a very dangerous worker.
Yep.
And he hurts people. Everybody. He's a fucking nasty cunt to work with. And the irony is you see Sheamus and Cesaro beating the shit out of each other.
That's what I've written down, yeah.
Is it? They were, like, those two and Barrett, whenever you wrestled either one of them, especially Barrett and Sheamus, they were like, here's the match. We're just going to beat the living shit out of each other.
That's one of the things, like, obviously I push Sheamus over a lot. But Sheamus's brief little feud with Roman Reigns when they were going at it for the title, if you watch the Roman Lesnar match at WrestleMania, which is one of my favorite matches of all time, and if you come out of that match thinking like that was sensational, that's what wrestling should be if the guys are willing to do it, like they just beat the shit out of each other. If you want like another little taste of that type of wrestling, watch the Roman Reigns Sheamus feud, because it was great. They fucking went at it and it was like heavy and stuff. So
yeah, some big old potatoes being thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when anyone wrestles Brock Lesnar, that's kind of what they go for. As we talked about in our recent, as in 2018 Rumble episode, is like Brock just pretty much goes, do whatever you want to me. You most likely can't knock me out.
Yeah.
Just ask Braun Strowman.
Yeah, who tried.
He tried his damn. That I've actually watched GIFs of that because I'm slightly obsessed with like him doing it.
Yeah,
and obviously,
me too.
He stays in character, but I reckon on the inside he is shitting himself.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You know you're going to get your receipt at some point.
Yeah, and Brock is just such a fucking entity. Like,
yeah,
it's. I'd love to like. You know, like, do you think that Brock is actually just a huge scumbag IRL?
Brock Lesnar is one of those people who just doesn't like other human beings. I think he says that himself on the Austin podcast. He's just like, I don't like being around people. I feel uncomfortable. So I think that, and he does say like, but I feel completely fine standing in front of 10,000 people because they're all staring at me, if that makes sense. I don't think he is literally, okay, not literally, sorry. He is as close to like a machine or an animal, like whatever end you want to put this from. Like, I guess he's like a cyborg or he's like a fucking gorilla, whichever one. But I don't think he's a scumbag. I don't think Paul Heyman would hang around him if he was scum.
Well, like, I really just cannot picture him in the world. Like, do you think he goes for beers with his friends?
Yeah, probably after he's fucking gone and hunted like all of their dinners.
Do you think he has friends?
I don't know. Like,
Right, so in a world where combat sports don't exist, what does Brock Lesnar do with his time? Like, what is he? Is he a fucking lumberjack? Is he like does he, load tree logs onto trucks or like? He's
bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Like that fucking dog guy.
Yeah, dog. Brock just fascinates me so much. Like, you see him in so many interviews when he's just a massive cunt to the person. And I feel like that's by design. I feel like he's playing up to his gimmick because that gimmick is money inside or outside the ring. Like, I feel like there has to be some kind of...
And it's so much easier to deal with people like that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just like...
Especially when you look like that. Like, are you serious?
Yeah. Like, if he's walking down the street, like, doing an interview or whatever, context you want to put in, if he tells us to fuck off,
yeah,
you should fuck off.
Yeah, that's right.
It pretty much ends there. If he says this interview's over, Brock, please sit there. Oh, okay, yeah, you're going. I'm very sorry. I think the idea of Brock Lesnar being indoors for anything, like even him being at a gym, is weird. I'd imagine he just goes out in the woods and just fucking headbutts the fucking trees, and you know what I mean? Like he picks, that thing they do when they pick up the big the tractor tires and they flip them over.
Yeah.
Like, that's his life. He just picks up a sledgehammer and he just fucking, shovels in coal to get some fucking heat in the house. Like, that is the level of, like, non-human or basic human. I don't know what you want to describe it, I don't think he even owns a phone. I really don't.
So they say that, and Heyman came up with that thing where it's like, if you want to call Brock Lesnar, like, Brock will call you, and he has to walk 2 fucking miles to the nearest town.
I heard that on the Austin thing as well, in this little gated community, where you're like, it's like one phone.
It's definitely bullshit, though. Like, there's no fucking way. If you're like regularly touted for a phone call from Dana White to go for a fucking 250 grand fight, like, that might happen to Brock in his day-to-day life. That's the thing that might actually happen. There's no fucking way the dude doesn't have a phone. There's no way Dana White is contacting him by post.
Yeah. Like, maybe he doesn't have a recent phone.
Sable's got to have a phone.
Yeah. Or it could be that, like, his agent deals with him, and everyone just kind of passes him, like, a bullet point version of everything that they've done. Like, his agents, his lawyers, his whatever the fuck. They're just like, it's this, this, and this. Like, but he was on the road with WWE not that long ago.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, which cities am I working? Well, I don't fucking know. Check your phone. I don't have a phone. Well, tough shit, man. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that. Ryback sucks. I never liked Ryback.
He's terrible. Like, he's actually awful. And you know me, like, I will put a positive spin on somebody because I do actually think that the Fed does what's best for business, and I think they're great. And like, I'm not like a fucking mark who just tries to hate shit for the sake of it. But Ryback is kind of irredeemable. Like, there really is no originality. He definitely doesn't have the charisma. Like, I do think he seems like a great guy. He's great on Jericho's podcast and all. But he's irredeemable. He's got like he's Goldberg, except he's shit because Goldberg was actually really good.
And he dresses like RVD.
Yeah, he's Goldberg in RVD's costume with none of Goldberg's ability and none of RVD's charisma, and just he's a big fucking log. And yeah,
he's that, like, no one wants that. No one's ever gone, I want to see Goldberg dressed as RVD. No one wants that. Yeah. So, I never really found time or place for him in my sort of logic of okay, I feel like, for me, I try to be a positive fan, and I always try to see the upside in stuff, even though it's difficult sometimes. But I try to get the upside on every gimmick and every wrestler, and be like, what can I extract that amuses me or entertains me? Because I don't know, as much as we give shit out, like, I don't think we're negative fans.
No, certainly not. I think we're mostly, like, the only negativity on this show is when we're giving out about negative fans.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Sometimes by design, sometimes because later on might be one of the times where we do that.
Yeah, in about 10 minutes from now.
Yeah. So yeah, stick around. So I don't know. There's something about him that does the opposite of anything that's good for me. Like, I can put up with your Val Venuses and like the boring guys like that they've dragged out over these, like Heidenreich and Snitsky and Sylvester Terkay. It's like it's a Hall of Fame list right there. But there's like,
what was the guy, Vladimir Kozlov?
Putin, of course.
Vladimir Putin, yeah, the famous billionaire owner
used
of the
to come
company.
Yeah. That guy as well. Santino. Like, I've always kind of understood what their roles are. Mike Knox as well. What their roles are and what like they're trying to get over.
Imagine you did that for like a full hour of you just shoveling more people into the thing.
There's only a couple people I think I can't legitimately stand, and it's not Go Away Heat. And I think one of them is Ryback. I'm sure there's others if I start thinking about every single fucking wrestler I've ever seen. One of them's Ryback, the other one's Hardcore Holly. Just
one of them
no time.
One of them is Chucky.
Yeah, and me and JR got no time for Chucky. So yeah, sorry. That was the Ryback part of the show. Number 27 is Alberto Del Canto.
Something like that, isn't it?
This is like the happier version of the song because he's got like two, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This is like the. It's like the really over the top one. I don't like him either, and it should be pretty obvious why not a lot of people should like him either.
But it is worth noting that number 27, King, is the number that the most entrants have won it from in history.
That's right. In this random show, in this, it doesn't make any sense because if it's a lottery, then it doesn't really matter what number you are. Just win it.
I once had like a system with the lottery that was like fucking pseudo-scientific bullshit made up inside my own brain, but I was like...
Is that you and Darren Brown, wasn't it?
Mine was fucking more sophisticated than that shit. But
hang on, he got it right.
Yeah, by fucking lying and deceiving his viewers.
That's
but
true, yeah.
So I was like, I had this system and like it was good. Like it actually did reward me, like with, you'll win €6 here, you'll win a free ticket here, win a free scratch card, like that kind of thing. And one time I was out, I got 3 numbers correct, and the other 3 numbers, like it was 26, I had 27, it was 13, I had 12. And I was like, holy shit. And I was thinking to myself, like, my system must be really good because I'm really getting somewhere. And then, like, that kind of buzz, dwindled within the next 15 minutes. And I was like, wait a minute. It was 13. I had 12. I could have had 39. It would be the same fucking distance away.
Yeah.
It's the same likelihood to come
up.
up. Yeah, it's a ball spinning around in a machine. It doesn't matter about its fucking proximity to anything else.
That's so true. It's not like, if he picked up the ball close to that, it would have been the ball number 13. It's like, no, it's a fucking...
That's not how it fucking works. It would be ludicrous. Yeah. Although the Rumble is actually a little bit more sophisticated than that because obviously the later you come out, the more likely you are to win. But counterintuitively, King, because need I remind you that only 2 people have ever entered number 30 and won it, and that's The Undertaker and John Cena.
Yes, and also the same amount of people have won coming out 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's right.
One of them, I don't know his name, but the other one, he's coming up later.
Only 2 people have ever won from the number 1 spot, and Shawn Michaels is one of them.
Shawn Michaels is both of them, baby.
Yeah.
He's also the other guy. It's crazy. Alberto, he does a little flying kick that he does. He's not a bad wrestler. I think he's just a horrible person. And he's one of the few ones that is hard to distinguish the man and the gimmick, which is ironic because, the other guy who also won the Rumble, he's also a very horrible person, the guy that won it at number 1.
Yeah.
But there is brain issues involved there in this context, and there's a bigger picture here. With Alberto Del Rio, it's also like, you're kind of scum as a person, and it's not just recently. It seems that he's been scum for a little while. Yeah. So, anyways, maybe one day we should talk about Del Rio's shenanigans. Actually, no, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, same.
Jesus Christ. The Del Rio, So, number 28, though. Let's shift gears here. Ow! walk with people.
There's a fucking...
Dun.
I'm actually...
Boo!
Just because this is a professional podcast, I am going to quickly Google this to make sure that I have the right line in these lyrics from the song I Walk Alone by Saliva. Where is it?
Exactly.
Okay, it's actually not that bad. Though I walk for miles inside this pit of danger, I've swallowed down 1,000 years of anger. It sounded like he... But it sounded like he said nails. I thought that he said, I've swallowed down 1,000 nails of anger.
Yeah, if he was in ECW.
Yeah.
But he's got 1,000 years of anger in him. That is a lot to contend with. He's got anger since, like, fucking 2014. He's got that anger building up for this Rumble. Yeah, he walks alone, doesn't he?
He fucking certainly does walk alone. Like, that is... You can't argue with that.
So here he comes, the Big T, 6-time world champion. Yeah, he gets booed. It's disappointing.
Well, it's weird because his music hits and there's a major cheer, and then he goes to fucking town on everyone in the ring amidst the chorus of boos, and then he eliminates Rowan to cheers, and then he eliminates Ryback to more cheers, and he eliminates Del Rio to cheers, and then Big E comes out.
Oiled Big E.
Yeah, oiled Big E, who starts
Extremely
throwing
oiled.
Batista around the ring and manhandling Sheamus, and then the crowd is like, Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when it gets weird, because I just wrote, oh god. Whoever comes next is fucked. And there's only one person left. The fans are chanting yes. It is, like, perfectly set up for Rey Mysterio, obviously.
This is like... So obviously this is sad, and this is a dark moment, but...
Jesus Christ.
It's weird how satisfied and smug with myself I felt seeing the fans standing up, and they have, you know, the yes thing where their index fingers are both pointing and they do the yes thing.
Yes.
Doing it right now for literally nobody's benefit. But they're all sitting there on the edge of their seat about to do that, and then booyaka booyaka 619.
Sit down. Be humble. Christ. So at this point, when Ray comes out, we have Luke Harper, Cesaro, Ambrose, Rollins, Punk, Sheamus, Roman, and Batista in the ring.
Yeah.
So it's still looking like, you know, there's a fair mix of, like, present and past, and, you know, you still basically you can throw your hat on a lot of people winning at this point. So Batista and Ray are specifically being booed.
So in the ring, there's like a melee or a fucking skirmish of, like, you know, multiple different fights breaking out, and everything is getting booed. Sheamus eliminates Big E, and the crowd doesn't give a shit. They're just booing. Rollins eliminates Mysterio, and the crowd goes crazy because they're really happy because they think Ray stole Bryan's spot. And this is one of the instances that just shows how farcical this fucking booing shit is. And how
Ray was like, I want to be there.
Yeah,
That's
like
ridiculous.
I think it's really important to note that they were booing everything, but then when Ray got eliminated, they cheered, and that just goes to show how fucking insufferable this like fucking ideology is. Reigns eliminates Harper. Ambrose tries to eliminate Reigns, but he's not able to lift him up, and then Cesaro tries to eliminate both Ambrose and Rollins. And then Reigns eliminates all three of them, which is great. We had like a little... Because the Shield were doing the thing, right? No one in the Rumble ever fucking stays as a team. I think, like, to me, it's like a notorious moment in Rumble history in 2001 when Matt and Jeff Hardy were both in the ring, and they were the only two left at one point, and they were like...
Idiots.
All right, let's fight it out. It's like, you fucking absolute morons. You fucking silly idiots.
There was like 2 Rumbles in a row where Punk had, because in one of them, I think it's like 2010, where he cuts a promo about 4 times in a row because it's just him and whoever comes out next.
Yeah, I
and
saw
Mike's
that
in the
one,
ring.
yeah.
And then the year after that, I think he's with the Straight Edge Society at that point. And the year after that, he's with the New Nexus. and I think it might have been Cena or someone then just chucked them all out. I don't get this, what Roman is doing here, because like there's still far too many people left.
I actually think this is really good booking.
You do?
For Roman, yeah, I love it because he only threw them over after Ambrose had a go at him. So Ambrose started it, and as we all know with the Shield, Rollins is the architect, Ambrose is the lunatic fringe, and Roman Reigns is the muscle. Mm-hmm. And Ambrose, the lunatic fringe, decided to go for it, and it was at that point that Reigns realized they're not a unit anymore. The architect is failing to keep them in check, and now he's got a golden opportunity to get rid of both of them. And when he does eliminate them, it's Punk, Reigns, Batista, and Sheamus left. And I actually think Roman Reigns comes out of this Rumble how can I say this? They did a fucking phenomenal job of building Roman Reigns in this Rumble. And
it's the Kane push from 2001,
it's the Kane push, and it's not obvious. He's not being shoved down your throat. He's not being overbooked. He's not. Any of the criticisms labeled against Roman Reigns are not apt here, and that is proven and fucking validated by the fact that from this moment right now, Roman Reigns is the solid crowd favorite.
It's him and Punk.
Punk.
There's not a lot of Punk left.
Kane comes back and eliminates Punk, and it's just fucking terrible.
Can I just talk about that? Fuck that rule. I fucking hate that rule in wrestling at the Royal Rumble. Like, just have someone eliminate him and have Kane get his attention, or have Kane hold his leg, but have the person physically doing it someone who's in the match, because then who the fuck is going to stop anybody in any of the members of the roster to just be like, well, I don't want him to win.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I fucking hate this.
This rule in place is like to say that if say Batista and Cena are both hovering over the top rope, and like fucking Billy Kidman comes out and flicks the two of them over, he's not even in the Rumble, but he's just eliminated two men. Does he win?
Well, they're out.
Yeah,
they're out. Well, whatever. Yeah, they're out. It's the same one as when someone gets attacked backstage, and they're all just like, they did it this year with Sami Zayn. Just take a spot. It's like, okay, so you can just continuously knock people out?
That's really shit. And of course, the other thing as well, the Curtis Axel rule of like, if you don't make it to the ring before the next person comes out. Yeah, like Maven never got eliminated in 2002.
No.
Yeah,
who was it as well? There's someone like that quite recently. Maybe Scotty Too Hardy. Test. It was Test. And then 2004. Then Mick Foley took his place because Austin was like, "You son of a bitch, go out there!" And he had his feud with Orton at the time. Did Mick? So Test had like a broken neck, so he was out for ages and ages. And like, so is he still in the Rumble then?
Yeah.
And also that rule changes because sometimes people come in only to get eliminated after being beaten up. And then they just don't turn up at all. So
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, obviously, like the 2-minute thing, the 90-second thing. Like, I understand all of these things in the context of the Rumble, but I don't fucking like the way that there's no consistency to the It is fucking ridiculous that Kane eliminates CM Punk and Kane's not even in it. Like, it's just stupid. It takes away from the actual integrity of the rules themselves. Like,
yeah. What they could do is, like, the way I'd book this, and I know this is an episode of fantasy booking, but that's okay. This is just a 2-second thing. Have Kane come out perhaps later on instead of so early and being eliminated so early. Punk does eliminate him. He just runs in the ring, chokeslams Punk twice, leaves the ring, big fuck you, and then someone just picks Punk up, his card, because like Roman or something, because Roman's still in a heel technically here, isn't he? The Shield still heals. Just throws him out, and Kane does the exact same bit, which is coming up next. He chokeslams Punk through the announce table. Done. Yeah. Same thing. And, by the way, that was it. That was Punk. Done.
That's the last thing that will ever happen to CM Punk in WWE is chokeslam through the table.
That's it. Bye-bye, Punk.
Yeah.
Good to see you, and see you in UFC. So at this point, who are we left with?
We're left with Reigns, Batista, and Sheamus. And from here on out, when it pans to the hard cam, all you're seeing is disgust.
No, they're chanting
no,
no,
yeah, that's
no,
right.
no. Sheamus does the point, and they go no, no. And the weird thing about the booing is that it never really goes away.
Yeah, this is like fucking dark, man. Like,
Yeah. I've
so,
never seen anything like this in WWE ever.
Same.
Ever, ever, ever. In any Rumble or any type of match where it's just like, boo. And it gets a bit louder. And then it gets a bit quieter. But it never goes away. They're booing the match as a concept now.
I am. Yeah, I fucking.
Could have had anybody. I think you could have had anybody in there because of Batista and because of Ray. Not through their own fault, and I know this, but you could have had Roman, you could have had Del Rio, Sheamus, Miz, Uso, Bradshaw, Goldust. Like, you could have had anybody there. They would have had that moment because they're seeing things differently from what they think they should see, which is weird because they're just going, I don't agree with reality.
Cognitive dissonance. It's
Batista looks knackered here.
Batista, yeah, we were talking about this on text, I think, was it?
Yeah.
Batista looks like he is not on steroids. He looks naturally healthy, but as a result, he looks a little bit skinnier, a little bit more tired, and yeah, I don't know. Well, like, what do we even think of Batista overall?
Well, after Roman throws Sheamus out, we're left to Batista and Roman. If you notice, Roman is standing up looking at him, and Batista is leaning. He's fucking leaning on the ropes, heavy breathing.
Yeah, he is.
At this point, Roman's been there half an hour, you know?
Yeah.
And Batista barely squares up to him.
You really cannot say anything about Roman Reigns' stamina. Like,
no, he can go.
He can fucking go. And I see one of my pals is he posts on this wrestling forum in Ireland, and it's really, really weird how much they hate Roman Reigns on there. I mean, it's not weird, it's fitting with everything in the wrestling world, unfortunately. But they have this fucking theory in there that Roman Reigns matches are always kept under 15 minutes to protect him. And they keep saying it, like, every time there's like a Roman Reigns match, people are like, oh, this is going to be 15 minutes of super Roman. So me and my mate looked at Batista's or fucking Roman Reigns' match times, and like, the dude has like fucking 28 minutes, like 32 minutes, like, he fucking goes.
He's going, he went 20 plus with AJ, Brock, and Cena, and Undertaker. And these are all different styles of wrestling as well.
Yeah.
And Bryan, but at next year's Fastlane, he's not a well, look at Batista. Just look at him right now, side by side. Like, Batista, even at his prime, even though he was much bigger than as well, he can't go. Like, his matches, even with like Triple H, they're very much like working for Batista's strengths.
Yeah.
Sell, 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 come out of the blocks with power. Sell, 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 slow, rest, hold, put him down. Whereas Roman Reigns, he can have all types of different matches. Like, that was never, like, as far as like the reasons why I don't like Roman, isn't so anything that he actually does. It's the way he's presented sometimes. Like, that's my only gripe. And that's not the same as Batista right here, or Rey Mysterio with you, I guess, is that, like, you are not into their style.
Yeah,
I want to say Ray, because I don't know what your opinion on Batista is, actually, because we haven't seen any Batista yet so far in the podcast. But, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Batista.
I fucking hated him at the time. Not this time. I was kind of like, when in my younger days, I was very much a negative, like, fucking cunt fan who hated Cena, and I hated Batista. I really thought Batista was shit. I've come around to him, though. I think this little run that he has here in the Fed is pretty decent.
Yeah.
And I can forgive him not being in proper condition for this, because it's his first match back and it's a Royal Rumble. Like, there's a lot that goes into that, and I think it's fair that he's not top of his game right here. But
he should have been in house shows. He should have been on Raw, like, just any old match. Because, like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's the same thing with The Rock, isn't it? Ring rust will get you. Because when he comes back at that Survivor Series to go up against The Miz and R-Truth, I think, with Cena, he is also hella knackered.
Yeah.
From just cutting promos, his voice is all fucking weird and shit. Yeah, so, like, I don't know. I know what you mean, where, like, this is literally Batista's comeback, but we've seen people come back and do a lot better than this.
Yeah. That
So
it's
Jericho's an example, but Jericho's like a work rate guy, so it's not kind of an example, you know?
Jericho is legit one of the top 10 all-time greatest. So
Yeah. So he kind of just, him and Sean are like, they could fuck off for 10 years, come back and still be like right up there. Yeah.
This in this moment in the Rumble, by the way, Reigns eliminates Sheamus and he gets his 12th elimination, which is a record in the Royal Rumble. So that's pretty cool. I can remember watching this live, and I liked the Shield a lot. I thought that Ambrose was the best.
Same, I was an Ambrose guy.
Yeah, I was not really a Reigns guy at all. I marked him off in my head as like he's a big dumb guy who's gonna do like 5 moves and he'll be the hot tag and like that's his thing. He's the enforcer, but he's not going to be the breakout star. And how wrong I was. But this Rumble actually changed my mind. I was so fucking impressed with him, and I thought the booking was brilliant. And it's, I guess, reflected in the fact that the arena at this exact moment is filled with chants saying Roman Reigns, and every single person there wants him to win. It's
amazing.
Every Batista punch is met with a boo or a no, and every Reigns one with a yeah.
I just want to say, as I was talking about earlier in the episode, I was watching this with friends, and it was to the point where, so from when Rey Mysterio came in, and obviously I told you who was in the ring, we were going like, okay, Dean or Seth. Yeah, Dean or Seth. And then obviously they fuck off, and we're like, obviously this is after Cesaro and Harper and even Ray are gone and stuff. And then we're going, come on, Punk. Punk's going to he's going to go the distance. And then Kane eliminated. We're like, no. And I think it's like how the crowd was kind of feeling, wasn't it? And then we're going, okay, between Sheamus, Roman, and Batista, we were everybody in the room was like, Roman, yes, he is gonna go to WrestleMania. He is now gonna be the man. And then Sheamus gets thrown out. We're like, fucking yes, here we go. And then the shittest spear happens as well.
Yeah.
What, did you see this? What was this about?
I tell you what,
who took this wrong?
It got the biggest fucking pop of the night.
So people are having it like, but it's such a like,
I think it's pretty obvious Batista fucked up here.
Yeah, because Roman did the jump sell. He was going to Ziggler the shit out of him.
Roman actually did like a really fucking good effort at a spear, and Batista was just completely not ready for it. And I'd say it's probably because Batista's never fucking been in the ring with someone who can do that to him.
But like, he's taking spears from Edge. I think he's just like, he was just knackered and he couldn't jump. He couldn't keep up with that momentum.
But Edge's spear is very tame.
It's tame, yeah. But he wrestled Goldberg, did Batista. Back in
that is true.
2003. So, like, taking a spear, it's like, yeah, maybe he hasn't taken one in fucking donkeys, of course, but, like, you're supposed to, like, I think he just didn't have the legs in him to spring in him to just jump and react that quickly.
Yeah,
not because he's out of shape, but because he's knackered.
Yeah, because he kind of flopped a bit, like...
Yeah, it was like a 2-fall.
Yeah.
Roman fell first. After doing the spear.
Yeah, I think like
Batista fell.
Roman kind of held on to him and made it look as good as it possibly could look as well.
Yeah. So they love him though. Batista's doing the shake the ring thing and the thumbs down, and that's when he gets
gives a shit.
They love him. And then Roman, like, I love that Roman does this. He like looks at the sign and he's like, yeah, I love the fact they always sometimes do that in the match. They'll just look up at the sign and be like, oh shit, it's for WrestleMania. I quite like that. Little reminder there in their head, like, oh, wait, what was I doing again? Oh yeah, that. Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing, right? Shit, WrestleMania. A botch in a match, everyone's booing. But although at this point of the match, technically it picks up because actually people have chosen a side. It's almost like people were waiting to be like, okay, who's going to be left at the end here so we can pick not Batista? I think that was the choice.
Yeah, that is true, right? And people, Jesus, man, I like, tell me if I'm going on a merry-go-round here, because I feel like the only thing I've ever said in this entire, like, every episode of the podcast is how much I think Roman Reigns deserves to be where he is and stuff like that. But people say, so it is a fact that Roman Reigns is the biggest draw in the company right now. Like, that is just a fact. He sells the most merch. He's if you look at Google Trends and compare him with any other star in the company, bar maybe Lesnar and Cena, Roman Reigns is above everybody and has been for fucking the last 2 years or something. The fact that like there are thousands of people in the arena booing him is actually insignificant, believe it or not, because underneath those boos there's actually lots and lots of cheers. But so when
Just like with Cena, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when Roman is in a match with like AJ Styles and the crowd is going AJ Styles, and then the other people are saying Roman Reigns. So when you say that to the people who are like, oh, everyone hates Roman, no one likes him. Okay, so why are there so many people cheering for him? They're just cheering for him because it's like a response to the AJ Styles one. It's that they don't want AJ to win, so they're just saying Roman Reigns. It's like, no.
Shut
up.
the best argument Cena made for that, I think it was Cena. I can't remember who he was feuding with, but this is kind of in the recent era where Cena's kind of like go semi-shoot on people.
Yeah.
I think it might have been AJ Styles. He cut a hell of a promo on AJ. He's like, and I think CM Punk actually worked this out quite well, how to get over this, and I'll tell you that in a second as well. But Cena came out and said, people are saying, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. They're chanting my name. You might as well be anybody in front of me. They'll still be chanting my name.
Yeah.
For good or bad reasons, it's all about me. And until you earn the right to have your name chanted up against mine, you ain't shit. And I remember CM Punk, I think it might have been at Money in the Bank, he was wrestling Cena, and they were doing let's go Cena, Cena sucks. And he does a whole, no, CM Punk. So they go, let's go Cena, CM Punk.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So that's the Roman argument there. It's like, there's videos that are around on the internet of like these grown men yelling, you know, fuck you, fuck Roman Reigns in front of like children who like him.
Yeah.
That's dark, bro.
You have entered a fucking dark corner of your life there.
Yeah, because you're just screaming that you're going, oh, you fucking like it. It's like, Jesus Christ, like, get a grip, man.
I'll say this too, and I know that this is the Daniel Bryan arc, but like, we can't not address this. So, the whole arena is behind Roman Reigns here, okay? That is definitive proof that the people booing him now really have no idea what they're booing. Because if you ask them,
like them then. It's the same. It's
the
gonna be the same people.
Same people, right? And they're cheering him then, right? So the whole idea of Roman's not ready for the push, right? Bullshit. You wanted him to have the push over Batista, a man who has held the title multiple times, right? Who there is nobody more ready for the title than a fucking 3-time or 4-time former champion, whatever. So like, you know, so your whole entire fucking thesis falls apart here. The idea that he's not good in the ring is obviously false, and that's been proven false multiple times. And I wouldn't even dignify somebody who says that Roman Reigns isn't good in the ring in 2018, because it's just completely not true. So
but that's not to say that you can't like him, so you can't dislike him.
You can dislike him all you want.
Those arguments aren't valid, I suppose, isn't it?
Like, dude, I fucking hate The Miz. Like, I fucking can't stand his stupid face. He does nothing for me at all, only like rile up negativity inside me. I don't like him. I don't want him on my TV screen. I would be a lot happier if he wasn't there. But I can't fucking hide from the fact that he's really fucking good. He's like one of the best heels in the company and has been for years. Like, he's a fucking credit to the Intercontinental belt. He's just an unbelievable fucking all-around performer. And yet, I would strike him from the card in an instant if I could. But like, at least I'm being honest for my reasons why. It's because I just don't like him.
And you're not asking other people to do that just because you don't like him as well. People can come to their own conclusions.
He's
and I'm pretty sure that
Intercontinental champion. I'm not saying put the belt on somebody else because I prefer the other person.
Yeah, he is the Intercontinental title for the lack of a better term for the last like 5 years anyways.
Yeah, and rightfully so. But
it's him, someone else, and back to him. Yeah. And that's what I mean, like Hardcore Holly. I don't think there's any going to be any Hardcore Holly fans, but never liked the guy.
Somewhere, someone listening with a Hardcore Holly t-shirt has just bowed his head in shame.
Yeah. You know, they people who like read his book. Did you know he's got a book, The Hardcore Truth? That's like fucking Stormy Daniels should be calling her book. And yeah, everyone's like, yeah, he's so misunderstood. You know, like he's a deeper guy than you think. You know, it's like, I don't know, I saw him beat the shit out of, like, what's his name, Matt Capitelli on fucking Tough Enough.
That was grim as hell.
That's dark, bro. And I saw also him try to fuck with Brock Lesnar, end up with a broken neck. Which actually, not that I wish a broken neck on anybody, but I was like, if anybody should deserve that shit,
I remember some of the things that you used to say online about Hardcore Holly.
Just to you, though, or just other people?
Well, it was in the open chat where we both said some shit.
Show me the transcripts.
Yeah,
Till
exactly.
then, I'll...
dude, I definitely said things that would probably put me in jail. Like,
about Hardcore Holly as well, or just in general. Just don't have a lot of time for him, that's all. And I think that that type of style of wrestling is just like, it's cunty, and it doesn't really help anybody. Because, again, you're never going to move up the card being a cunt. And you just aren't.
It's also like, it's not like because obviously we praised the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar style, but that's like a mutually agreed upon thing. Whereas what Hardcore Holly does is like...
taking advantage of people.
Yeah, like there's
a
match.
Point of wrestling is to not do that, by the way.
You can watch one of his matches on YouTube where it's him against Randy Orton circa like 2003 or something. It's very early Randy Orton. He's got longish hair. His
got the shorts on.
Shorts, and his finisher is the overdrive. That weird thing. But
everyone's got.
Yeah, and this match is just Hardcore Holly beating the living shit out of him.
Yeah. And he does that a lot, and he, like, beat up the shit. This isn't the Hardcore Holly show, but I'm just saying, like, people like him, just, they don't make it easy on themselves for you to like anything about them.
Yeah.
And I think that you can criticize Roman. You can criticize things about Roman that you don't like. But to say, like, the flat-out statement of, like, he can't go, oh, we never liked him, he's pushed down our throats. And it's like, well, look, this is evidence. So yes, fair enough. It's just the fact that, like, because I've seen Chris Masters get cheered over John Cena, and I don't think there's any Chris Masters fans. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that argument also has its downfalls. But here, it wasn't like they were just cheering anyone who was against Batista. They were specifically chanting Roman Reigns.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas no one was chanting Chris Masters all those years ago. But anyways, should we just get to the finish here?
Do you want to hear an awesome story about Chris Masters?
Yes.
You may already know this. I'm not sure. So Chris Masters obviously was terrible in the ring and all that stuff.
The masterpiece.
His mother was in her home. And I
don't like where this is going.
I may be getting some details of this wrong, okay, but you can Google this. This is almost... Jeez, I fucking hope to God I'm not like...
Wait, no, I know what you're talking about. The fire.
The fire, and Chris Masters, in order to get in the door, ripped a tree out of the ground and used it to ram the fucking door down so that he could save his mother from a burning building.
That's that thing, isn't it? You get superhuman strength if one of your kin is in trouble. You just, Alex Jones says you can pick up a car. He's seen people pick up cars to save each other. So
a woman did do that to save a child once.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's a true documented story. Yeah.
No fucking way, because I thought he just said that like, one of his mad things.
He was certainly lying when he said he's seen people do it, multiple people.
Yeah. Groups.
Yeah.
Groups would pick up that car. Maybe he was just watching Raw and just saw Braun do it and confuse him with a mother. I don't know.
It is a thing that's happened, and also Chris Masters did it to save his mother, so that's great. It's good on you.
That's awesome. Yeah, see, I don't have any gripes with that. If it was Hardcore Holly, he probably would have like stiffed the tree.
Kick the door.
Kick the door, and yeah. Anyways, so yeah, let's go over the finish here.
Yeah, this is a fucking lame ending.
Oh, it's the old Twist-a-Rooney finish.
This is bad. Like, this is really, 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 really bad. You could not explain this to somebody who doesn't watch wrestling, and that's what I hate. I hate when things like that happen.
Is this the one? So, we can talk about other Rumble finishes, like if you think of any worse ones or any whatever. But yeah, so
There's
Roman
another
Spear.
worse one involving Batista.
Yeah, points at him and Big Match John, and so he goes to throw him out, and then Batista does the old, "No, you're not throwing me out. I'm throwing you out," and Roman's just like, "Well, I had no counter for that." Bam, man, I didn't think you'd throw me out.
That's pretty much it. Yeah,
I thought I was throwing you out. And yeah, Roman Reigns is eliminated, and the booing. I noticed that they put on the song extra loud.
Yeah.
The song's very loud, and you can still hear the booing underneath, and it's a flat ending, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Fans are chanting no, and this was the first time, I think, ever in WWE. Maybe you'd get this shit in TNA and other companies, or it's Fire Russo, blah, 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 but it's the first time in WWE where a babyface won a main event. Maybe Cena at his height, but even then, I guess the people still popped, like the girls and the kids and stuff like that. At the height of the anti-Cena, we're all male men. Like The Rock says, we're men. We like other men. We make transsexual jokes at John Cena. That's what men do.
Wasn't there one in the very early 90s involving Hogan and Flair? Or...
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, yes. Oh, yes. You, my friend, have just stumbled upon one of the greatest moments in the history of wrestling, because this wasn't like we rehearsed this. This is actually, he just mentioned that genuinely, but so it's Royal Rumble 92. You have Sid, who's a heel, Hogan, who's a face, Flair, who's a heel, and they eliminate Hogan, and Hogan just starts doing his Hogan bullshit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Sid's just being like, well, fuck you. I threw you out, motherfucker. And Hogan's getting fucking booed. And then he pushes out Sid and helps Flair to win, a heel. And Hogan gets booed. But by the time they played that shit out, Hogan was actually, they edited. You know how they do it.
And if you go check that out on the network right now, you'll be watching the edited version.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rumble 92. Yeah, that's the closest thing to, everyone just going, not that guy!
Yeah.
No, not him! Because when Cena came back in 2008 at MSG, when he wasn't even supposed to be back for 6 months, people still went crazy for him.
Major pop, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the all-time, shocks, because he'd been gone for, 4 months, and it's a 9-month injury usually, because his fucking tricep was fucked or something. I don't know. I like the fact that this wasn't the first time I watched this Rumble, because obviously we both watched it live, independent of each other. But I remember when I watched this live, there was basically just a group of adult people just going to sleep very, very sad. Just a group of people being like, "Oh, all right, mate, do you want to leave the light on? Nah, I don't want to look at anything right now." And I just remember going on my phone, because I didn't use Twitter much at the time, but sometimes every now and then wrestling becomes relevant on my Facebook feed, and yeah,
it's
it was
glorious.
The 7 people that I know who watch wrestling were all like, "Well, this is fucking shit, isn't it? It's 4:00 in the morning, and I feel fucking horrible." It was so deflating.
Yeah, it's
A fart of an ending is what I have written down here. And that's it. You were out.
I can remember being really disappointed that Roman Reigns didn't win.
Same.
Yeah.
Didn't realize I was going to feel like that at the beginning of the match. And I didn't even know who we had going into as winning apart from Bryan.
So I'm going to be 100% honest, and people can fucking fight me on this if they don't believe me. I will take a lie detector test. I'll
be first.
I honestly did not fucking think that Daniel Bryan was going to be in the Rumble.
At all?
Yeah, at all. Because I figured he was in a fucking match earlier, which he lost. It's just, I know that actually kind of should set it up for him to come out and reclaim the loss that he had earlier. But when I was growing up watching wrestling, people who had matches earlier on the card didn't appear in the main Rumble.
You're right, they don't tend to do double duty.
Yeah.
Do you know only one man, and I believe, I don't know, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but only one man, and this is in the modern Rumbles, where it's actually something online, only one man had a title match at the beginning of the night and then ended up being in the Rumble. Do you know who that is? I'll give you a hint. He wasn't the guy. He was the guy who wasn't Batista at the end of the Rumble. Sheamus. No,
Test.
yeah, Roman. 2017 Rumble. He loses to Kevin Owens in a
that's right.
hard no rules match, and then he comes out at fucking number 30.
That's right.
And that was weird because it's like storyline wise, was he? I think I've said this before on the show, but was he like low key being like, "Yo, can I get a Rumble number just in case I lose?"
I think you said it in this episode.
Did I say this in an episode? Because I feel like that's such a weird thing for them to do. Like, especially him at the time with the backlash was beginning. It's like, don't do that.
They should certainly have fucking known better, yeah.
Yeah, because that doesn't help anybody. Doesn't help him, doesn't help them, and doesn't help like other people who are like, hang on a minute, Bryan, because it'll just bring the argument back to this night where Bryan's in the match and he's not in the Rumble.
I tell you what, though, I guarantee you that and this will sicken people, the majority of people watching on their TV were delighted to see Roman Reigns come out because, like, the fucking target audience is kids, and kids love Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
so, like,
that is true.
That's why it was
they got
done.
to see him twice in one night. So
yeah. And they got that bit of hope at the end and everything. So
yeah, because that's obviously the reason why he came out. By the way, at that Rumble was to set up the feud with Taker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he threw them over and they just two dogs. You know what I mean? Two dogs in their yard.
Now.
My yard. I'm gonna cock this fist and make it rain on a dead Undertaker, bitch.
We should do a Roman Reigns arc. I actually think that would be super fucking interesting.
We are living in it, my friend.
I know.
we are living in the Roman Reigns arc. Yeah, definitely. But where would you start and finish? That's the thing. We could do his title wins. I don't know. Well, that'll be one definitely to put in the backlog of
I'd like to for the listeners, if you're still here, and you have fingers that work. Can you fucking let us know if you're sick of hearing me talk about Roman Reigns? It's like the thing that I'm like the most conscious about in the world, or the most self-conscious thing. Do I talk about him too much? But like everyone talks about him all the time, and it's very few people actually defend him. So I feel like I'm doing like fucking overtime here. But
yeah, just to cover up the haters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many big dogs do you give this pay-per-view out of 10? No, sorry, out of 12. Because of the elimination. Get it?
It's a good question. Yeah, geez, how would you even... So, like, the opening
match... It's an inconsistent show.
Yeah,
is what it is.
By a long fucking way. The opening match was fantastic. And probably...
Outlaws, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a classic, bro. Sorry, yeah. Of course, the opener was awesome, definitely.
Seeing a badass Billy Gunn pin Goldust in a WWE ring in the year 2014.
That's what dreams are made of.
But yeah, no, the Bryan Wyatt match was fucking solid as hell. Brock and Big Show, I fucking enjoy anything that they do together, so that was great. Orton Cena was terrible, and the Royal Rumble was like average, I guess. Being fair to it, it is average. I like what they did with Roman in the Rumble. I thought it was really cool. I didn't like the finish. I didn't like the fact that Batista just came back and won. Geez, what would I give it out of 12? I guess it's like a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, you can go halfsies on that, I guess. Yeah, 4 or 5, maybe 6 at a push. I just felt it brought back a lot of emotions, both of watching it at the time and watching it now, and still being as confused by stuff.
Yeah.
It's a show that starts off hot and ends sad. But along the journey, you feel oddly happy and sad again. So the opening was like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm so happy. Oh, Bray won. Oh, that's kind of shit. But, no worries. By the way, this isn't, I suppose I'm maybe still talking about it as if like I'm watching it back in 2014 live, where yeah, Bryan will come out in the main event sort of thing. Yeah, Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. You can't even call that a match. It's a fucking beatdown. Dragged on a bit too long. But the point was proved that, Brock Lesnar's a killer, I guess. Randy Orton versus John Cena. I wonder if they had wrestled before. So if you're a new fan who just happens to start watching in 2014, I like to think that they would have enjoyed that.
I don't think they would have. Like, sincerely. Like, I'm not being, like, smart.
It's not even their best. I don't know. It's hard to judge. It's just, it just reminds you that, it's still not quite as I don't know, the roster and I guess the storytelling is still not quite as packed as it's, especially what today would be, where it's like you get a lot of good talent all across any card from the weekly shows to the pay-per-views in NXT.
Yeah.
So the Rumble, I would say it's in that 2002 spot of Rumbles where it's like up until Mysterio comes out, and it's an entirely different match. But yeah, I think it's the not crazy memorable, but not utterly shit, which makes it very hard to review because there's nothing painfully shitty that you can point at, but there's nothing amazing. There's nothing amazing you can point at. I'd say it was an entertaining watch, but it wasn't an entertaining review. You get me?
Yeah.
Commentary was shit to okay most of the night. And then the second half of the Rumble was just like, it's surreal. It was like ECW in a completely weird way. It was like Survivor Series 97 in a weird way. It was just that you're watching it and there's like, something's not quite, something's going on here. Something's weird. And the other thing as well is none of the wrestlers adapted to the crowd reactions. None of them became, just heels ever so briefly. None of them kind of, the ones being cheered didn't, I don't know, just acknowledge the crowd more and be like, yeah, it's me, and shut up, just something to try and weave the crowd in one direction or another.
That's very, very true, yeah.
Yes, because you could argue that, like, they could have turned that around, perhaps Roman, but he wasn't experienced enough, or Sheamus. I can't remember if Sheamus was a heel or... I know Sheamus was a face, to be fair.
In Roman's defense, he was being cheered. But, like, they were cheering him, so I don't think...
Yeah, but Miz does, like, your other favorite, funnily enough, Miz. But you can... it's the idea of, like, I don't need your cheers, I'm going to win this sort of thing, and then the babyface does the comeback. But Roman and Batista didn't have enough spots to even attempt to turn it around. It was like, they stood, they punched, they speared, he was gone.
I'd even say, actually, in defense of the two last guys, Roman at the time was really just a muscle guy, never really spoke at all. So, he's just doing his thing, and he's just going to be a badass guy who throws people around, and that's fine.
Exactly. So his character in his tenure in the company he was the dude that just said believe in the Shield. That was his role.
Yeah,
and he said his own name.
Batista hadn't carved out a new role for himself yet. Like, we didn't even know what Batista we were getting.
No, he didn't even do the Queen wave.
Yeah.
Ron. We did know. I guess we did know Batista we were getting when he ripped his fucking pants coming out in his actual return on Raw. He was wearing these super tight jeans, and he's coming out of the ring after his promo. Exactly. Exactly. So no one adapted to it as well. I suppose you could make, again, there's always a counter argument to all this shit I'm saying, but you could also make the argument that it was so unexpected, that reaction for a lack of Bryan, that they didn't even have because the commentators never acknowledged it, so no one was just, it must have been just like, what the fuck's happening here? Like those Raws after WrestleMania, like the original, when everyone was just like, okay, this is odd. I would recommend people watch this in the car crash sort of way.
It's an iconic moment. Like, yeah. This is, like, it's going to be talked about for 20 years. Like, genuinely, so. And
the rest of the match doesn't even matter almost. It's one of those, it's like, just watch it from here. Watch this madness. This is one of the ones that you'd show to other wrestling fans, but I don't think you'd show to non-fans, because non-fans would be like, why are they all booing everyone, and why are they there watching? Mm-hmm. So, there you go. And I'll give it, probably just a 5 out of 12.
5 out of 12 is the most oddly correct seeming number.
It's lopsided like the show. You know what I mean? It's
that's so
yeah,
true.
swings and roundabouts and stuff. But yeah, no, we obviously we're always interested in what you guys think as well. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Does El Dinero talk about Roman Reigns too much? Do I talk about Hardcore Holly too much? Yeah, tell us maybe certain nuances that we didn't see in certain matches. Any feedback is feedback, and that's welcomed. So, yeah, cool. Big Dog, Roman.
Believe that.
Believe that. And yeah, so should we get the hell out of here then?
Yeah, follow us on all the stuff and click all the things.
Yeah, yes. And thank you very much for listening. I can't talk. And up next may be a little surprise.
Yes.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Let's just say WrestleMania week is going to be good. Good night.
Speared. Bye.
I've walked for miles inside this pit of danger, a place where no one follows.